Good morning, or however else Tim might say it. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day. We have been preparing for this for months, if not years at this point, especially if you've been excited to say the least for Siri going back to iOS 18, which is only 2 years ago, which might sound like it should be more given that we are now at iOS 27 or will be at iOS 27 Developer Beta 1 later this evening. But yes, today is finally WWDC 2026, finally the day where we are going to get some final confirmations about Apple Intelligent Siri. Finally, an official release date, hopefully, for features like on screen awareness, personal context, and of course, in app controls for Siri. A Siri dedicated app, a Siri chatbot mode, a Siri that's based on Google Gemini. And that's, of course, on top of iOS 27, iPadOS 27, macOS 27, and on and on and on. So we'll have a lot to talk about after today, tomorrow, the day after that. WWDC is, of course, not only just today's keynote, but it's also the following days. Apple will be going through multiple developer conferences, telling us everything that's new in Swift and Swift UI, telling us everything that's new in terms of developer APIs for iOS and macOS, telling us everything that's new about the system's performance and battery handling, which has been rumored to get quite a nice upgrade in iOS 27. I already look at the chat. We have Steve leaving a message a while ago saying, hope I can join in the second half of the stream. So Steve at least remembered. I did promise to stream for quite a while today. We're starting with the pre-event discussion. That's from now up until WWDC. Then you will have my actual face reactions during WWDC. Don't forget, I cannot live react to the WWDC presentation with the dub actually like on screen or the audio there. So you kind of have to cut it together for yourself, right? And I will be for once actually watching WWDC on my laptop directly. Last year I did a complicated setup where I moved my laptop and everything, and still watched from the TV, and then my AirPods tried sometimes to connect to my Mac, and I just wanted to avoid all that. So my watching experience will be very basic: 14-inch laptop, 14-inch MacBook Pro, and earpods. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's definitely a little bit of a technological downgrade versus last year, but I hope that will make this stream actually much nicer for you. On top of that, Steve wishes all of us a good time, and leaving a generous 249 euros super chat saying a small thanks for the good content in advance. Thank you so much, Steve. I know not everybody has time to watch. I myself was working just up until like an hour ago, so of course I fully understand that you guys are busy, whether it's with family obligations, work obligations, and sometimes might just be low energy, right? Workouts, that's a typical one. Sometimes people say like, oh, I'm listening live while working out and stuff like that. So thank you to anyone who finds their way to these streams, no matter whether you're watching them live or watching them as a VOD afterwards. And hopefully in the future, as I promised, starting next week, I'll be delivering more content in the forms of regular video uploads and maybe some shorts. Again, I'm still not quite sold on shorts, even though they've been now around for quite a time, and obviously TikTok has been around for quite some time, but I will be giving you more content. I am taking a little holiday this weekend, so hopefully after that I'll be able to not only do very regular live streams, but also deliver you other types of content for all those of you who prefer to watch more edited down content rather than full on live streams. We have KSB Wonders in the chat saying, look who's back. Guess who's back? Back again. KSB. Nice. Welcome back, bro. Saying hi back. I think what I just did was definitely a lot better than hi, though. And Plasma Void 676767. Jesus, I don't meme that much. Please, guys. I'm 29 and I've been old from like by the time I hit 15. I was way too serious of a kid in many ways. So while I do screw around with you, never take me using like, what is it called? Like brain rot vocabulary or whatever is a sign that I'm actually like that. It's just fun to goof around with you guys. Bless my voice saying good morning, let's go. Absolutely, and this is why I did start with the very Tim Cook typical good morning. In fact, we have a big good morning exercise for everyone. Well, I mean it's 6 p.m. for me, but literally an exercise in saying good morning. Let's move to Twitter. And Tim Cook, after so many years of the good morning meme, finally playing a little bit into it and asking content creators for some advice on how he should say good morning to us for WWDC, which is very likely to be his last event. I'll assume he might pop up in some other Apple events in the future, but it's definitely his last event as CEO. He steps down on September 1st. The next iPhone event should be like mid-September, so it's very much anticipated that by that point that the next events will be started with a good morning or whatever else by John Turnus. KSB, you're saying, sorry, been overloaded with my internship. Bro, I've been through med school. Believe me, I fully understand what it means to have like a lot of obligations. Yeah. And before we start with our good morning exercise, I wanted to give a shout out to all YouTube members, all Patreon supporters, whether you're a MarkTech Pro, MarkTech Pro Max tiers, doesn't matter. Thank you so much, whether you've been a supporter at some point or still are. I know that some of you have stopped supporting me occasionally. That's because my upload schedule is quite irregular, so I don't blame you. Hopefully I can earn your support. That's how this works, this relationship. So thank you so much. Bless my voice saying respect to Tim. Absolutely. We can go into his legacy as CEO, of course, as the successor of Steve Jobs, who I still believe will be a pretty unique and standalone character in Apple's history, like even after Tim, after Turnus, whoever follows up Turnus, right? I still think that Steve will kind of stand alone, and being the successor, this in like almost the second Apple CEO. I know Apple had like that weird guy in between when they were stupid enough to oust Steve and whatever. But yeah, Tim will discuss him once his time as CEO actually ends. HTC1M7 saying hello and then saying recently switched to MacBook. Well, let us know what your experience is like. Obviously, by the way, great choice of phone, HTC One M7, M8, M9, some of the most beautiful looking phones ever made. That aluminum unibody design, that gorgeous curve on the back. I really wish we still had HTC in the market. But I've teased you guys enough. Let's get straight into good morning.
Hey, Tim, I think you ought to tap into your countryside and say something like, good morning, y'all.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good f***ing morning.
Oh, yeah, fuck it, do it like that. Good morning. Wait, did you say the F word? Or
Good
There. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good f***ing morning.
Yeah, of course he says it like that. Man, he's such, from everything I hear, he's such a super nice guy, but he became such a meme because of Ted Lasso. It's hilarious. Did they let him say it twice?
Good f***ing morning. Good f***ing morning.
Oh, I didn't actually watch the video before it. I knew how it started. Oh, that's actually hilarious. Shout out to Ted Lasso, one of the best comedies of the last couple of years. KSB, new Apple home devices soon. They could. This is my speculation when it comes to hardware for today's event. We could get like a Mac Mini, Mac Studio based on M5 processors, including all the way up to M5 Ultra. I think coming out and especially talking about an M5 Ultra Mac Studio would allow Apple to bring out Turnus in a very natural way, because he is naturally the hardware guy, right, for Apple. Apple and soon the CEO. However, I do think that as Steve, like one more thing, the thing that is more likely to come out is for Apple to say, and here is one more thing. We have all that hardware, we have all that software that runs iOS 27, macOS 27, iPadOS 27, the new Siri, right? And that's not watchOS, tvOS, visionOS. You know the drill, right? But here is one more thing. Not only is it powered by the same Apple Intelligence features as iOS, as macOS, but it's also its own standalone platform on which we are now launching something called Home OS, right? And Home OS at that point could even be its own sequel to tvOS and AudioOS together, right? Like AudioOS being like the HomePod operating system, tvOS, of course, being the operating system for tvOS. Combine that all into Home OS for HomePods, Apple TVs, and now that HomePad. That would be great. Guys, let's go Roy Kent. Absolutely. He's here, he's there, he's every fucking... Sorry. I shouldn't use too many swear words. I'll get demonetized. We have so many people joining. Guys, no extortion here, but if you want it guaranteed for me to read your message, make it a super chat or make it a super chat. Of course, you can also send me super stickers anyway. But that would mean a lot. It helps me keep up this hobby. It helps me take an hour or two off from work occasionally more. Helps us do these streams for longer. Helps us do them more often. And in the future, as I promised, will help me invest more time into editing some content. We have Angelica, one of our MarkCheck Pro Max members, joining, saying I'm bringing some good vibes with me. Rosa, long-term supporter of the chat, saying hello. Guys, I also see you're leaving likes. That means a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you're watching and you haven't yet done so. It all helps tremendously. HTC1M7, you're saying Tim introduced Apple Watch, Apple Silicon, AirPods, and changed the OS name to macOS. The OS 10 name, right? He has my respects. Yeah, and don't forget, he executed on those things well, right? Apple Watch has seen a lot of evolution that has not been forced, in my opinion. I think they've actually been very restrained. Like the fact that we are still using the same connection mechanism between the bands and the Apple Watch is quite a big thing. The fact that they don't like just willy-nilly change the design or the UI element. I actually think that goes to show that they're not lazy like some people I've seen say, but it's a piece of jewelry almost. It deserves a little bit more like carefulness than even the iPhone. So yeah, I think Tim has done a lot of great stuff. And by the way, don't forget, we don't really credit Tim with it because of course Steve introduced the original iPad and the iPad 2, but that's 2010 and 2011. We're now 15 years after that. So 90% of all iPads have launched under Tim, right? That includes expanding iPads with iPadOS, the Magic Keyboard, the Apple Pencil. All of those transformative things happened under Tim. Yeah, so there's plenty to talk about Tim, but also Apple in general in the last 2 decades. Chilling with Tech saying, I'm excited. You're going to do a call-in for the stream or not? We might do it afterwards because right now I'm quite happy with my setup. But yeah, thanks for reminding me. I will be streaming though tomorrow and or on Wednesday. It depends a little bit on my work schedule and everything. So I'll try to definitely do some call-in opportunities at the very latest by then, because obviously today I prepared for dub, not yet for calls. And I have forgotten a few things about how I set it up in Discord. I need to do my research again. Riley, also long-term supporter of the stream, one of our #1 yappers, saying hello. Chilling with Tech, good question. I have no idea when the next Apple TV 4K is coming. Probably still this year, and it's probably gonna be like A70 Pro based. Imagine if they announce Apple smart glasses. According to Mark Gurman, 2027 is the launch of the smart glasses without a display, and with a display we are looking more at like 2029. So yeah. Oh, the M1 Max 993 said that. I don't remember seeing your name before, but obviously we are both big M1 Max appreciators. My MacBook is currently powered by the M1 Max, so M1 Max for life. Here's up, not to mention MagSafe. Yeah, there's so much that launched under Tim. Don't forget, Tim launched Touch ID and Face ID. So all of our era of biometrics, even including the fact that like the skin sensors on Apple Watch that allow you to unlock your MacBook and everything, that's also all Tim. Now, I'm not crediting Tim with these technologies themselves, but knowing that these technologies are good, allowing your team to work on them, making sure that they are economically feasible inside those devices, yeah, you cannot not credit Tim with at least some of that. Who's ready to see the delayed Siri? Well, we'll have to see. Hopefully, Siri is as good as some of us expect. If it is Gemini 3.5 based, and it's very nicely distilled by Apple and optimized for iOS and everything, it could be quite impressive, especially the on-device functions. Like, this is one thing. I don't expect Apple to be the #1 chatbot provider. I don't even expect Apple's chatbot version of Siri, the one that runs primarily through private cloud compute and even Google's own servers. I don't expect that to be the best version. OpenAI, Anthropic, they all have way too much riding on their superiority. They'll always push the envelope in that regard a little bit more than Apple. But I do expect Apple to have pretty much the best on-device models going forward. They now have given themselves more room. iPhones have now up to 12 gigs of RAM. Macs have 128. Apple needs to leverage that. How's your experience using macOS Tahoe on your M1 Max? It's great. To be honest, I never had much issue with Tahoe. One of my best friends recently updated her M3 MacBook Air to Tahoe, and she hates the design. But it seems like everything at least runs stable and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe some people don't like the design. I personally, you guys know it, I am a big supporter of liquid glass. I was quite sad to see Ellen Dye go. I was especially sad to see him besmirch himself and lower his status by going to Facebook, but yeah, that's a discussion of almost again for another time. Riley saying, I'm here to troll you if it gets delayed again. Well, it is almost delayed if we are going by like Mark Gurman's timeline, right? Because Mark Gurman promised us that stuff like on-screen awareness, personal context, and in-app controls, right, that they would launch by iOS 26.4. Now they will probably launch an iOS 27, right, which is a September launch, which is 4 or 5 months later than many of us anticipated. We expected like March, April, May as a release date. Yeah, but let's actually continue with the good morning. You know what? I need some Roy Kent back in my life. Give me Roy Kent.
Good f***ing morning.
Oh, okay.
Good f***ing morning. Good f***ing morning.
Good morning. Morning good? Mudgorning?
Oh, that's the guy. Oh, these are primarily actors from Apple shows. This is the guy from Widow's Bay, a fantastic horror comedy on Apple TV Plus. Or sorry, it's only called Apple TV now, because that's certainly not confusing to have Apple TV as a hardware point, to have it as an app, and to have it as a service. Sure, everything is Apple TV, whatever Apple, believe it yourself. But Widow's Bay, a strong recommendation, absolutely love it. It's interesting, it's hard to even quantify how much comedy and how much horror it is, because it's almost 50-50. It's not always laugh out loud funny, it's just the vibe. It gets so absurd, it's quite hilarious. Oh god, no.
Why don't you just tell me good morning? Good morning.
Oh god, I have a feeling that that alone will get my video demonetized. Guys, super chats, super stickers, channel memberships, help me compensate for a potential demonetization.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh yeah, because of shrinking. Oh, they even got him, like, they probably couldn't get him again after like filming and presenting Shrinking on the red carpet, right? I mean, it's quite already crazy. I assume they're paying Harrison Ford a ton of money for filming a freaking TV show at his age, despite him obviously being much more of a movie guy. By the way, guys, I'll be snacking throughout this event because I'm hungry as F. So I have some chips or crisps. No, chips. Sorry. Yeah, crisps are potato chips, right? But for the Brits, I'm German and my English is primarily American English, even though that's not what I learned at school. And then I have some raspberries and some strawberries. I'll also be leaving you for toilet breaks and stuff like that, because if we're gonna do a 5-hour stream, I'll need that. So just be warned, this is a little bit different. KSP saying, I was thinking of Riley so much while watching NVIDIA's keynote at Computex. Oh, I cannot watch the NVIDIA stuff anymore. It's so self-absorbed. It's like, if people had a problem with Apple self-aggrandizing themselves over the years, I find it hilarious that the same PCMR people are now like just absolutely stroking the living F out of Jensen. Like, don't get me wrong, I appreciate the technical contributions that NVIDIA brings to the market, but I just find it weird how much people are okay with him saying super weird, like often not so true stuff on stage. Like everything about the N1X, like they almost pretended like they invented ARM SoCs at the very least for PCs. And like, that's not even, like even they themselves used to have other ARM SoCs for Windows. There have been other SoCs in general with 128 gigs of RAM, Strix Halo to Strix to Gorgon Halo is actually moving from 128 gigabytes to 192 gigabytes of max package memory. Now, granted, that's an x86 SoC, but that's not like it's a downgrade to be x86 on Windows. Plus, N1X has already existed in the DGX Spark. Plus, plus, we still don't know yet about full software support. They advertised like 2 games being ported to native on ARM. M1 Max, could the RTX Spark be a threat to Apple Silicon? No. It might be a little bit of a threat to Apple for this very specific market. Like, or you know, like the open claw guys, right? That buy like a Mac Mini, set it up and whatever, and they basically have AI agents running on it nonstop. Which is, by the way, a very small niche market for Apple, but it's not actually, like, the first generation RTX Spark has no chance of actually competing with Apple with a general SoC experience, right? It's launching as an ARM SoC on Windows, which is neither great with SoCs nor with ARM, mind you. Meanwhile, Apple has now had all the experience, not just of Mac SoCs with Apple Silicon, but all those years before that on iPhone and iPad, and all the years of developers porting their apps. But the other point is also the CPU portion of it is like competitive with the M3 in terms of single core performance. That's around 3,000 points in Geekbench. Meanwhile, in terms of multi-core performance, it's competitive closer to the base M5 rather than to the binned M5 Pro or fully enabled M5 Pro or M5 Max. So, and yeah, the GPU portion is nice, but if you want really great GPU on Windows, you can get a standalone GPU, right? Or a dedicated GPU in a laptop, like an RTX 5070 there's no TI version, like a 5080 or even a 5090, even though, of course, those cost quite a lot. The other point is that Intel-based SoCs, by around late 2028, 2029, they will get NVIDIA GPUs. So NVIDIA could literally make a GPU chiplet for some parts, it becomes part of an RTX like N2X and 3X. But they can also, if it's designed accordingly, they can take that chiplet and combine it with an x86 Intel CPU chiplet. And they can even, and then if they work together with Intel from the ground up, which they will have to, of course, for drivers, they will also be able to use Intel's advanced nodes, like 18AP, or more likely at that point we would be looking at some form of 14A, 14AP maybe even. So there's no N1X RTX Spark is not a danger to Apple. It's interesting to have it, but no. Riley saying I'll take a nap around the AI time. KSP107 18 Pro will cost $1,500. We'll definitely will miss Tim. There is no chance for that. Like, in fact, in terms of logistics, Apple is now trained by Tim, even more so than they are trained like from a hardware software engineering perspective by Steve. I would argue Tim left a bigger impact on that regard. I would argue Steve shaped the overall culture of the company, a culture of excellence, a culture of high standards, a culture of mostly focusing on the consumer market, all that stuff, right? But that logistical experience, that efficiency, that is very much Tim. Like when you remember when the iPad 1 launched, right? It was said that basically, like, well, it took like the ideas of Steve, the hardware engineering team to make it what it is, but it took Tim to make it cost $500. And yes, will we lose some of that when Tim is gone? Don't forget, Tim isn't fully gone. He becomes the chairman of the board, so he's still very much involved with Apple. But let's say we lose him fully in 5 years from Apple's operations in general. I still think that Apple will be cost-wise just as effective as they are now.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh. Good morning.
Good morning. Tim Cook, big fan. I'm gonna tell you what. Life is your oyster, man. You gotta go pick it. You can do it all.
Thanks for the...
That was cute. I probably would have done the same. Well, I would have said good morning, but I would have also combined it with just some well wishes. It's a new stage of Tim's life.
Is. I think I'll say it the way I always say it.
That's the best way,
Good
man.
morning.
And we still haven't actually heard the actual good morning. I mean, I'm not sure. The event is pre-recorded, right? So I guess that we know that might actually be a cutout from everything we know. God, I click on 2-3 anime things on Twitter and everything is like getting like now anime recommendations. We're now half an hour up until the event. KSP, you're saying the new Xbox 25 looks super cool. I mean, I've seen it. My problem is I really don't understand what Xbox is doing. Like, you guys know I'm a big PlayStation fan, but like not a fanboy. I just have a PlayStation. I prefer their games and everything. But like at the time when I was interested in Nintendo, I got a Nintendo Switch. Then I gave it away to my niece once I used it less, right? But like the Xbox 25 looks cool, but who the actual F would buy an Xbox Series S or X in late 2026 when we know that like Project Helix is coming out 2027, when we know that so many of their games are coming to PlayStation? Like, look, I know they've restarted exclusives, but to me, if you like Xbox exclusives, don't buy an Xbox, buy a PC, which would include a Project Helix, but also like in general, like build yourself a PC, get yourself a gaming laptop, or a laptop that can game, of course. It's like, don't really get a gaming laptop. They're not that great as a product category. But it looks cool. Unfortunately, on the back, it's not translucent at all. And also, and I don't want to be too nitpicky about this design, because I do think this design is dope, right? I just feel like that the Xbox Series internals are not visually interesting enough to be transparent, right? Like most of it underneath is just like, Right, I know they have like the motherboard and then like a daughter board here. I assume that's a lot of the cooling system and everything, and just RF shields and whatever there is going to be inside, antennas. But it's not visually interesting. Like when you remember like the Bondi Blue iMac, right? Like, I feel like that device looked much more like Steve Jobs' iMac, and Google recommends me Jobs. That's funny. Right? These devices weren't extremely translucent either, and obviously not across the board. That was the back. But I feel like that looked so much cooler, right? You got so much more from the translucency. Yeah, KSP, you upgrade from a 6750 XT to a 5070 Ti. Well, in terms of raw performance, there is a difference between those chips, sure, but the main advantages that you're, of course, getting are significantly faster RTX performance, and then, of course, DLSS. Right now, for example, FSR 4.1 is not yet ported to the 6 or 7,000 generation. It will be, but even then, the question is how good will it actually run on those devices? So yeah, good hardware. HTC One M7, iOS 27, macOS 27, iPadOS 27, tvOS 27, watchOS 27. You forgot visionOS 27, and as I suggested, maybe HomeOS 27? Launching on a HomePad? Who knows? Also, while it's not a platform in of itself, Siri being more of a chatbot and an agent, I guess, in a way in the future. I know it's not yet like discussed that way, but I would be surprised if Apple wouldn't let Siri do some agent-like things on your Macs and stuff like that in the future. There is a lot in terms of like platform stuff. Even if not all platforms are gonna get groundbreaking new features across the board, right? A lot of stuff that we're getting is optimization, bug fixes, performance improvements, liquid glass optimizations to make sure it's legible and runs well, and fixing some animation problems that might still be inside the systems, right? And even that work, by the way, you will not see it when installing the first beta. Maybe you will see, like, I don't know, a new JavaScript engine, a new JavaScript compiler inside Safari. Maybe Safari will once again become faster than Chrome or something like that. But given that we are still like 3 months out from the actual release, I wouldn't put all my eggs in a basket that iOS 27 Beta 1 will bring all of those optimizations right away. Plus, it will still have all the problems of a beta on top of it. Now, when I remember iOS 12, the betas, they were quite good, but that goes hand in hand with iOS 27, also with iOS 12. But iOS 12 still had some decent amount of new features, so who knows? Maybe Apple will actually be able to bring it out in a good way. And I'm not going to be installing the Beta 1 on my iPhone, but I'm going to be installing it on my iPad. I need my Mac for work, so that's at least a Beta 2 thing, unless I just completely give in. And on my iPhone, I need obviously for everything, but especially this week, and I'm going on a trip to London, so I need my board tickets, I need my hotel tickets, I need my camera for nice date night photos and shit like that. So we'll have to I'll hold back at least a little bit. Yeah, 25 minutes more, 24 actually. You guys see I already have YouTube prepared here. 23 minutes, 52 seconds. Guys, keep on commenting. Let me know what you're interested in. Obviously, well, I assume today it's just a general keynote. But there isn't that much, of course, in terms of last-minute leaks, which I found very interesting throughout the weekend. I thought we might get something bigger, which was quite nice for me because I was visiting family on the weekend, and I definitely didn't plan on just doing a live stream in the middle of that. But I thought we would get more. Like, for example, last year, just in terms of like branding, we knew the name Tahoe a week in advance. This time, we don't know what the new version of macOS is going to be called like. This even created some speculation that it might just be called macOS 27 and that Apple is giving up on its tradition to name macOS after like California places and special California things. So we'll have to see how that plays out in the meantime, or in the years to come, or today and in the years to come. There has been one Mark Gurman report in the Power On newsletter. I could even open up Power On newsletter because I still technically pay for it. But Mark Gurman writes in such an obnoxious, like, too long-winded way. I really don't want to. It's nicely summarized on websites like 95 Mac and Mac Rumors, so let's hope. Oh, I almost forget. Could we get some CarPlay Ultra stuff? It's been such a long it's such a long time that we have seen really CarPlay Ultra related thing. Yeah, I agree with you, HTC One. I do want them to keep giving playful names to macOS. I wouldn't even mind them doing the same to other operating system. Obviously, it doesn't impact anything but the wallpaper choice, right? The actual operating system keeps evolving. Sometimes what they will do is like leopard and snow leopard, right? Like a refinement year will be called something that's adjacent to the year before, right? So maybe you can even tell right from the branding like what it's supposed to be, right? Maybe like something from Tahoe based would be a name that's very specific to like Lake Tahoe and whatever, signifying that macOS 27 is more of a refinement year. But I don't know. I don't want them to stop either. I like it when Craig comes out and makes those jokes about their Craig marketing team going in their VW minibus and looking for interesting places, getting high without mentioning that directly. Do you think they'll put the Apple Intelligence ads back? No, they will not use the same Apple Intelligence ads. They have a sting to them now. They will just make new ones. It's Apple. Their marketing budget is basically unlimited. But let's actually, speaking of Apple Intelligence, let's get to the report from Bloomberg. In fact, this is about a big meeting that Apple had after the not so successful launch of Apple Intelligence. And obviously Gurman posts this now in context of Apple Intelligence finally coming into its own. So let's see. Around early 2025, Apple executives held a consequential meeting in a conference room near the software engineering department overseen by Craig Federighi, which of course makes sense because so much else that was to come was then put under Craig Federighi. Obviously, John Giandrea left. Obviously, they had Rockwell take over Siri after doing Apple Vision Pro. So, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, literally physically close to Craig in that regard. Cook himself wasn't there, and Jeff Williams, the company's now retired CEO, called the meeting to order. The discussion centered on what had by then become a growing crisis. Apple Intelligence, the company's new AI platform, was a flop. I don't even like my problem is when people say it like that. Like maybe, but the bigger problem was that it didn't really launch fully, right? Like Apple Intelligence individual features like writing tools, cleanup in photos. I've seen people use those left and right. My question is more like, did Apple, like, because this is very much Mark Gurman language, right? He says the same thing about Apple Vision Pro, right? Remember when Apple Vision Pro absolutely matched the sales expectations that Mark Gurman posted a few months ahead of the release, right? A couple 100,000. But then by the time it came out and it was clear that it would sell around 100 to 200,000 units, Mark Gurman retroactively increased that number to 500K, right? And then he was like, oh, now it's a flop. And I'm like, Wait, by what standard? By a retroactive standard? And the same thing goes to me with Apple Intelligence. I think Apple Intelligence is a flop in the sense that it doesn't have big customer adoption because a lot of it didn't come out. I guess as you could argue maybe Image Playground is a flop, right? But most Siri features didn't even come out, so I doubt that that was Apple's language. If anything, I think Apple's language very much focused on the fact, guys, we've promised a product, where the F is it? It's what I'm saying. The M6 announcement in September will be cool. Nope. Zero chance M6 MacBooks launch in September. I think if they launch, they will be October, November releases. And don't forget, we have many rumors pointing towards the redesigned MacBook Pro coming early 2027. So don't push yourself to believe that. Apple still wants to sell M5 Macs. Don't forget, they even M5 Macs, not X but CS, right? They don't want to necessarily like kill the excitement for their 3nm chips at the time when they actually have procurement problems for their 3nm chips, right? So no, not before October. Plasma Void, chomp, 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 Mark with the cutting edge analysis and chip eating. Yeah, sorry guys, I can be hungry too. I'm already way less of a public eater than basically any freaking streamer. Certainly not, like I basically never eat during streams that are less than 2 hours. Okay, instead of chomp, chomp, how about I do like, I don't know, what? Let me get the strawberry into myself. These are such soft, delicious strawberries. Their skin literally falls apart the second you buy them. You have to eat them in the course of not even 24 hours, but like 12 hours. They're freaking delicious. Polish sales shop next to me. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, Apple Intelligence was a flop, and the critical overhaul of the Siri digital assistant was on the verge of being delayed, which I honestly think is the main culprit, the main problem that led to that meeting. The purpose of the meeting quickly became to formulate a recommendation to Cook and about how the company should respond. Some noteworthy details about this meeting include Federici was leading the meeting and being the most prominent voice in the discussion, Mike Rockwell having a strong voice as well and ultimately volunteering in that meeting to lead the effort to fix Siri. I actually didn't, I kind of skimmed the news report. I knew, of course, that Mike Rockwell became ultimately the Siri lead after that, but him volunteering is interesting. I know that he has been pushing for bigger roles since Apple, and that's how he also got the Vision Pro title. It's interesting if he's gonna become some kind of senior vice president, especially technically. There could be a hardware SVP post empty. Now, we know that, of course, most of responsibilities from John Turnus will go to be to the lieutenants of Johnny Cerrucci, and then Johnny Cerrucci oversees all of hardware, including product development and actual like core technologies. That being said, if Mark Rockwell does it well, there could be some room. But then again, he went from Apple Vision Pro, which didn't sell too well, to now he's doing Siri, which even if it does well, it's going to be software. So I'm not sure what kind of post he technically would be most suited for. Maybe some kind of special product development, right? But that's not really an SVP post. That's more like a VP post. I'm not sure. Ardaway saying Tim should say greetings and welcome to Apple Park. Yeah, he should just tease us. Yeah, I actually thought of that. Imagine if Tim actually never said good morning again in his life, just to absolutely destroy everyone who wants to hear it. Cook's absence from the meeting as executives discussed what post course of action to bring him later. I actually don't think that's super noteworthy. CEOs like the most important part is that while this is an emergency meeting specifically on like Siri and Apple Intelligence, it's not an emergency meeting for the overall company, right? Sales are still doing well. Like the iPhone 16 was selling well during that time. Apple Silicon Mac transition was going very well, and by the time we had like M3 Macs that doing nicely, iPads were like tandem OLED around that time, the transition. Like for the Pro, there was so much happening that was good. Of course, Cook wasn't there because, first of all, there are a lot of desperate, different voices. If Cook was right there, it would create a lot of pressure to like blame each other in front of him. Them being able to talk it out among themselves. Like, even though I assume that John J. Andrea also got some shit, he was there, so I assume that would still be the main vibe. But yeah, I don't think that Cook's absence is very meaningful here. But John J. Andrea was there, who of course at that point was leading both Siri and Apple Intelligence as a whole. He also wasn't responsible to Craig Federighi, unlike the current Apple's AI lead, whose name I always forget. I apologize for that. Gurman says that Cook was on the verge of approving the plan in March 2025 at the time of Apple's annual Top 100 retreat for leaders. However, one disagreement was that Rockwell believed he would become the new AI head, replacing J. Andrea, which does make sense that he would believe that because obviously J. Andrea oversaw Siri and with it Apple Intelligence. But separating those two, I assume, is also why we ultimately still kept some Apple Intelligence features, but we have not yet gotten new Siri, right? There will be no iOS 27 source, trust me, bro. Yeah, of course. Federici argued Rockwell should take over Siri, but report to him as part of the software team, which is ultimately, of course, what's happened. And obviously Apple found new leadership for Apple Intelligence and Apple's broader AI pivot. Craig now oversees that all. G. Andrea ultimately left. And of course, after that, like by Apple standard, in a very quick time frame, Apple made deals with Google regarding the use of Gemini models. There is still some speculation. I don't quite understand why, or just internet talk, I guess, that Apple is just using off-the-shelf, I don't know, Gemini 3.1, 3.5. I'm not sure that's how it works. In fact, most reports have pointed to that exactly not being how it works, but rather that Apple is taking Gemini, basically getting infinite responses from it, distilling based on that a good LLM. That's what a lot of Chinese open source models do, by the way. They train themselves on ChatGPT, Anthropic. They give them like 1 billion questions, obviously not 1 billion, right? And based on that, they train themselves. Which is not super legal, but then again, I also don't care because OpenAI, Anthropic, they're not companies that respect intellectual property rights anyway. Like they train on books and everything online, on everything that's on YouTube. They don't pay a cent to most IP holders. So and Apple is doing something similar, but they're doing it obviously with the express permission of Google. I assume with early access to cutting edge LLMs from Google, and they also get different LLMs from Google. So instead of just training on whatever is available through the Gemini app or through Google search, they will get from Google, here is our 2B model, right, that fits into devices with 8 gigs of RAM. Here's our model that is for 16 gigabyte devices. Here's our model that specifically runs very fast but sacrifices just the right amount of accuracy, right? Here here's our super deep thinking model in 2 sizes, and maybe the one size can launch on private cloud compute. Maybe one of the has to still run through NVIDIA hardware and Google's own TPUs on Google's cloud. And maybe a model derivative of them could even run on 64 or 128 gigabyte max. Maybe Apple could even launch a model that would fill out a 512 gigabyte Mac Studio. But God knows we need to move on from the M3 Mac Studio and hopefully get like an M5 Max version or something like that. So there's quite a lot to consider here. Yeah, HTC One M7, 10 minutes. I can see that. We should be having the... Oh, it's only 8 minutes now. Damn. So, I don't actually think that I've missed anything in the meantime. Nope. Nothing here. Nothing here. Yeah, we talked about it all. Great. And in 8 minutes, the event starts. So you know what I'm going to do now? Guys, first of all, thank you so much for joining. Let me know in the comments what you want me to specifically focus on, what you are most interested in, what are your predictions, right? And then, of course, while the event is live, if you're actually interested in watching my reaction, let me know what you think of everything that's being announced. If you want to support me directly, make your message a super chat or leave me a super sticker. That all is very much appreciated. Please, if you haven't yet done so, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it out with anybody who you think might enjoy it. And you can become a channel member right here on YouTube or a supporter over on Patreon. So that all helps a lot. We're now just 6 minutes away from the event. That's absolutely crazy how quickly time flew. I was actually worried I wouldn't have enough to talk about before starting this. So what instead I'm going to do is... going to OBS for a second. I'm gonna mute my mic. Well, I'm gonna mute my Mac, which is so that WWDC doesn't play in your ear while you're supposed to be watching me. Then, for the moment, I'm gonna put my macOS stream over my video capture. Wait, shouldn't that? Oh, sorry, that's the audio. So my macOS, so you cannot see me now. Now I can stand up, freshen myself up, right? I'm gonna mute myself while I'll do all that stuff around the apartment, and I'll be there with you guys in 5 minutes. So I'm gonna mute myself now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I hope I'm actually back now. And you should also now get my full size. You also shouldn't be able to hear my Mac. So I hope that works. Okay, because I'm watching myself now here in the background. Okay, great. I have the event now live. And you guys should be able to tell me if you can only hear me, but not the actual event. That would be a great help. And Benveni, one of our long-term supporters as well, joining here. Okay, seems like it's all working fine from everything that I can tell. Yeah, because I can hear the dub, but you shouldn't be able to see or hear it, which is running now on my Mac. So I wish all of us a great WWDC. Going live into the event, going full screen, and you guys should be seeing me full screen. Cheers! Nice music as always from Apple. Let me get my beautiful silver button back here. Thank you to everyone who watches live. Riley saying I can hear it on my own iPad. Well, I assume you mean the WWDC. What I mean, you shouldn't be able to hear and see WWDC through me, because that would be like a demonetization ground. Okay, HC1, watch the actual dub, and then you can go back to the stream because we are going to have a post-event discussion as well. You can also let me hang around with you on a secondary device if you really wanted to, but I do understand that. Obviously, the event is the main priority. There's a lot of liquid glass happening right now. Okay. Yeah, and from everything I see, no sound, no video for you guys, except for me. I guess it should be. Okay, going out, showing Apple Park, listening to some Harry Styles. Good morning from Tim. Tim Apple, one last time, I guess. It's gonna go from this to John Appleseed. We don't need subtitles, I think. Tim has grown old. Like, not unworking old, of course. He could continue working, but he needs some rest, I think. We all need some, but obviously we need more with age. Here's to you, Tim. Apple Academies across the world. A lot of very classic Apple themes, intersection, hardware, software, and service. A lot of love for the Mac, obviously. Oh yeah, from the moon trip recently by the astronauts, the iPhone flying in space, a strong visual. Okay, Apple Intelligence and Siri confirmed. And crack starts right away. I wonder what we're gonna start with. You're getting 27 in March. I assume you mean next year. Okay. Are we? Platform improvements. That's gonna be bug fixes, performance, battery life. Okay. I wonder if Siri is now going to come to devices older than the iPhone 16 or the 15 Pro. Benveni, Siri, finally, yeah, I understand that. Oh, crack marketing team. Oh no. What happened to the crack marketing team? Experiential ideation. The fuck? Oh no. Are we actually not getting a name for macOS and stuff? You see, we would lose that if we like that VW flying video. The fuck is this? Oh, they got just for that. Okay, macOS Golden Gate. Perfect. Beautiful. That's going to make for some awesome wallpapers. Oh, they're going to actually talk in summary about all platforms. That's interesting. Riley, for some people, it's always the 1970s. Some people never came home from Woodstock. Oh, we're gonna get nerdy and sweaty. Who wouldn't want to get sweaty with crack? Like, huh. Okay, the stream works nicely. That's good. Extra large widgets. Is that going to be the full screen? And I assume that's going to go hand in hand with, oh, Jesus Christ, with foldables. Okay. Man, if they promise so much stability, it's going to fucking suck to not install the beta. Oh yeah, that's the guy under Steve LeMay. Yep, just as it was with iOS 7. A lot of iteration. iOS 8, iOS 9, iOS 10. Oh no, they said they appreciate feedback. All those Twitter tech nerds are gonna give even more feedback. Oh, more depth. Looks good. Riley, we might just get the slider now. No! Oh, I hate this. Ah. Oh no, I hate this so much. They actually gave us the slider. They actually gave in. I was so sure they wouldn't do it. I'm going all in on maximum liquid glass. Ultra clear. Yeah, Benveni. I'm going to be ultra clear all day long. That's good. What they're showing now for the Mac is good. Yes, sidebar. Yes, that sidebar. Oh God, so much better. Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, I'm forgiving them. Okay, so much small good stuff. They fixed corner radiuses. Nice. Okay, they're getting rid of all L and die specific ideas, but they're keeping liquid glass. Oh man, I'm gonna install macOS Golden Gate after this probably. Yes! Oh my god, yes! The icon stuff is exactly what I was asking. More three-dimensionality in liquid glass in the actual icons. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, I'm sold. Ultra clear with those new icons. Mwah. I mean, not every icon has been changed, but that maps example, if they keep that up and keep on adding on that even over the years, that's the direction I want to see. Okay. That's a... Okay, I assume the Core OS will now use more RAM to preload more core data. True. Oh my god. Okay, this is a beautiful refinement year. This is actually almost in line with Siri. Oh, faster, 80% faster airdrop transfers. These are iOS 12 level improvements. Okay, files in iPadOS is faster, but it's still not Finder. The CPU scheduler is something that, unfortunately, NVIDIA cannot control on Windows. This is great nerdy stuff. And this stuff is also why we are losing support for Intel Macs, because okay, that's impressive as fuck. All the way down to iPhone 11. That's 4 gigs of... Well, no, that's actually 3 gig of RAM devices when you count the iPhone SE. That's freaking amazing. So all the leaks about iPhone 11 being cut off were wrong. So those were probably not leaks, but just fake speculation. Oh, modem improvements. Nice. Which I assume that will be even better on like iPhones with Apple modems. Beautiful. Nice interface too. Yeah, Benveni, iPhone 18 will be a beast. Oh, they're fixing search. They listen to all the Twitter feedback. Oh, the people online are gonna kiss Stephen LeMay's feet. Hmm. That index updates, those are also needed for Siri. Riley's waiting for 26.7, sure. I wonder if there are battery life improvements, or hopefully with the extra performance, battery life is still the same, which would be great. Oh, great by itself. Oh, I thought that was already there. Okay. I really hope we're getting some gaming stuff too today. Oh, it's so easy to lose track because there's so much happening. Custom EQ and AirPods. That's a long-standing demand. I also assume they're probably gonna go a little bit crazier with it on AirPods Pro 3 Plus or whatever. Oh, that's what they launched the AI model for. Nice. Damn. Damn, flyover looks good. Well, that's ultra. That's ultra liquid glass. I like that they're not hiding liquid glass in their own demonstrations. Okay, they didn't talk about battery life. My hope is that battery life is about the same with the extra performance. Oh, will they make guest mode? if they're focusing so much on making kid-specific stuff. That's something that Joanna Stern was asking, right? She was asking to fix certain parent stuff. Riley became the #1 yapper somehow. Nice. Good on you, Riley. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Technology boundary. Please, Apple, use this as an excuse to give us guest mode on iPads and hell, maybe even iPhones. Yeah. Age-based protections that hopefully don't have to always be government mandates. I hope parents do them by themselves. Benveni saying you don't care about kids. Jesus. I mean, we are only 20 minutes into what is probably a 2-hour event, so there will be plenty of time to talk about Siri. But I will say she's saying a lot without saying actually much. There is a lot of very obvious stuff happening. Oh, is this Apple Watch not set up? Cute. Riley, you're like the opposite of the Simpsons woman who's like, why won't anybody think of the children? And Riley's, who cares about the kids? F the kids, yeah. This is important because so many people are new to Apple's platform nowadays. Oh, you see, there is more liquid glass here in the icons. I think that there's more in Find My than before. But so many people will now be accessing Apple's platform through stuff like MacBook Neo, right? This is why this... First of all, I also assume this is the biggest individual non-Siri effort that they have to do, that they have right now, so they have to show it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have to show that much. To hell with the kids, give me gaming. Riley, the way you say it, it sounds like you're the kid who just wants games. Maybe we should... Riley, maybe I should put you under my parental controls. Oh, right, I missed the default wallpaper. What is it? Not that I care. I'm probably gonna just keep using the iPhone 17 Pro wallpaper, right? Oh, nice. That's actually good because my nieces often ask me about approving their App Store downloads. Because we're all in the family group, and my sister slash cousin, we are cousins, but basically grew up like siblings. Not that it matters, Jesus. Like, she trusts me with their tech stuff. So I guess I'm gonna see that too now. I'm not sure. Are we gonna get individual platform breakdowns? Because we got so many individual smaller features broken down, even in the platform stuff. I'm not sure if Apple is gonna talk about the individual platforms that much. Because I assume the Siri stuff is gonna be like 40 minutes long. And if we're gonna get some hardware alongside it, that could be a full extra hour. And not every WWDC has to be exactly 2 hours. If it's an hour 40. Man, Apple, please. That screen time icon is beautiful. That's actually one where a little even more liquid glass would have made sense. I have to say, with this production quality, I don't care about live events. Like, it looks so good. The icons, even animations. Look how pretty it all is. And the user interface for all the parent controls are quite good. Yeah, Riley's correct. Just give the kids auto Robux purchases. The icons are freaking amazing. Maybe Stephen LeMay is that much better than Alan Dye. Who knows? HTC1M7 saying you're back. Welcome back. Just say you like pretty Asian women, Mark? Wait, I was praising stuff with other people on stage. By that logic, you could also say I like what is this gentleman like? It doesn't look African American, but he's brown. Jesus, Riley, F you. But yeah, she's a pretty woman and an Asian woman. Jesus Christ. Fuck you. Oh, that's the default wallpaper. Yeah, it's simple. It's very it's very last couple of years abstract Apple wallpapers. Nothing crazy. Does macOS get a Golden Gate Bridge specific one? Did I miss that one? Yeah, and liquid glass across the board looks amazing. And now people won't be able to complain. Now they have that stupid slider. Oh, AI and gaming. They mentioned gaming. Guys, we won. They mentioned gaming for 2 seconds. Yeah, maybe iOS 26 wallpaper was better. I use older wallpapers for the most part. I haven't been the biggest fan of the last couple of years anyway. Like I sometimes use device specific ones. Like the 17 Pro wallpaper. Okay. Man, they even made that parental icon very liquid glassy. Nice. They're really teasing us though. This is now taking up 10 minutes or so. Gaming mentioned. Let's go, Riley. I agree. Man, Craig looks really good for his age. I assume they're using some makeup, whatever, but he's in phenomenal freaking shape. Okay. So we talked about 10 minutes for the platform stuff, 10 minutes for trust and safety, and now the main core of the event, intelligence. Calling out companies doing for prioritizing AI for the sake of AI over people. Very populist of you, Craig. Interesting. Jesus, the strawberries are so soft. I cannot even really puncture them. They just fall off the fork. Yeah, I know what you mean, Benveni. The dimming of the lock screen wallpaper to show notifications. Let's see how that works now. Well, Gurman said they would now be sliding in from the left, so at least the animations are different. Gonna have to see what the actual look looks. Will they mention Google? Oh, Apple Foundation models. Oh, deep collaboration with Google. Wow, they're open about this. Yeah, Riley, you can take a nap. Okay. So that's exactly what I was saying. Apple is not just copy pasting Gemini, they're optimizing it and integrating it with their own stuff. Man, yeah, I understand what you mean. Benveni, please give me the strength to install it only next week. Yes! Oh my god! More powerful on-device model. Wait, is that going to be an option on like Macs with 30? Oh, they're going to differentiate between iPhones with like 8 gigs of RAM and 12. I think that's what they mean by this. That's a beautiful way to visualize this, by the way, that circle and circle stuff. And that personal context understanding benefits from better search indexing. Yeah. Seeing Apple mention Google as well. Well, don't forget, there was a time when Apple was building YouTube apps for the iPad and had Google Maps directly inside iPhone OS back then. Okay, world knowledge is cloud-based. Nice. But the search query is like on device. App action, that's all the stuff that has been promised for a while now. Yeah, on-screen awareness, in-app control, and personal context. These are all the core foundations that I've been asking for. And they will have chatbots and apps on top of it, but this is what I needed Apple to deliver on. Yep. Privacy. Good. Privacy. Independent expert verification. That's a big promise for Apple. Okay, all new Siri. That will include new design going through Dynamic Island. Oh, Mike Rockwell. I actually didn't know what he looked like. That was a beautiful animation. Siri breaking out of that old bubble. Siri AI. Hey, I called it AI Siri in my title for the stream. I wonder what Apple stock is doing right now with these announcements. They were already up on the day. Yeah, they're up an additional 0.5% to 1%. Yeah, that's about what we expected. That design going from Dynamic Island. It's actually stronger on liquid glass than I expected. Oh, world knowledge based with reminders. That's what Google. Okay. Conversational, world knowledge based, in app controls, image analysis and understanding. Yeah, this is a super pretty animation for Siri in Dynamic Island. It's really amazing. Now I'm extra curious on what it's going to look like on devices without Dynamic Island. Personal context, like going through images, through your own images and texts. This thing will need, like, I don't think it's getting supported on devices older than iPhone 15 Pro, simply because it will need the RAM just to constantly analyze your own stuff on device. I assume with notches and devices without notches or dynamic islands, it's just going to be this bubble, but down under. Wow, that's a that's a lot of controls, like adding people to a shared family album in iCloud Photos. Or add photos. Yeah, I assume the next iPhone E is actually going to get liquid glass. I know you're joking, Riley, when you're saying that's a leak, but I would be surprised now if it were not. Emotions in Siri, stuff like what Google has been doing. Jesus. Oh, voice customization, nice. Voice American. America, fuck yeah. Cause freedom is the only way, yeah. Rapper Siri W. I hope they also improve general like auto type and everything, autocorrect and stuff. Wow, that's quite liquid glassy for CarPlay. Wait, taking. Oh, this is going to be the app. Oh no, it's just more Siri. Is Apple stock further improving? 2.29. No, it dropped a little, but then again, the entire market dropped in the last couple of minutes somehow. Oh, okay. Okay, what does it look like on the non-dynamic island devices? Come on, Apple. You said you optimized it for each platform. Sure. Yeah, World Cup stuff. I've completely forgotten to keep track. Oh, June 11th. Not interested in Mexico. Ooh, that's a beautiful interface. It's what Siri should have been like for years. When does Germany play? Sorry, I shouldn't be chewing directly into the microphone. I don't need that stuff. I'll be honest. I'm not a sucker for everything Apple does. I'm not going to be asking that stuff of Siri. Coconut cookies are delicious. I haven't made them in a while. Oh, they changed the bottom, like the swipe up thing. It's now much shorter, much more pill rather than this elongated shape. Interesting. Let me check on the stream. Bro thinks he's aura farming? I honestly think he's just trying to do a good job. I like that these demonstrations are so much more impressive than even the ads that they had to pull away. And I like that it shows a realistic wait time. It does not speed it up in an unnatural way. If this is the actual real world speed of Siri, that's going to be good, more than good enough. Ben, when you're saying, man, I'm not sure my iPhone will run this, it will, but it might literally be worse than an iPhone with more RAM. Ooh, go. Is that spotlight search? God, that's pretty. A lot of the stuff there just has to do with going through your old data. It's not going to be that much slower on older hardware. It could get much faster on like iPhone 17 Pro specifically, which doesn't just have 12 gigs of RAM, but also faster storage. But then everything else, I assume, will perform about the same, whether you have the 17 Pro or the 15 Pro or 16 Pro. Okay, they made it beautiful on the Mac too. And if you click on the expand button, that should open the app, right? $16 gigs of RAM on iPhone, I assume 2028. Maybe 2029 if the RAM apocalypse keeps getting worse. But I assume by the time they switch to LPDDR6, they're gonna just go with 16 across the board. And then I assume devices that are cheaper are gonna keep using LPDDR5X for a while, and they are gonna be limited to 12. Okay, so it has full chatbot capabilities. My mom was actually super stoked. She has been recently using Gemini more, and I told her that Apple is basically doing their own version of Gemini. She's like, oh, can we use this? I'm like, I'm not sure how much of it is going to be potentially behind a paywall, but hopefully it's included in Apple One because we use the highest tier of Apple One. Plus, we as a family also have another 2 terabytes of iCloud speicher on top of it. Okay, so it can analyze files. It can connect it with on-device stuff like having its response and then sending that one via email or via messages. So just for anyone watching me, but not WWDC. I love the fact that they didn't scrap Siri as a name. This is a better Siri. Let Siri redeem itself. Oh, is that the new Siri icon? Nice. That's exactly the design that Mark Gurman leaked. Oh, interesting. Wait, that's such a random thing. You have a new app grid on watchOS, but you announce it as part of Siri. Oh, they did the meme. They did the glowing Siri bubble in visionOS. That's like the most beautiful interface ever. Okay. Wait, so you're bringing it to all Apple regardless of hardware level? And that's going to be in the camera app. Yeah, iPhone 11 supported. All iPhones that are supported by S26 are supported by 27. Okay, all the leaks by Bloomberg on this were correct. He just didn't get the interface quite right. He got like the overall shapes right, but the liquid glass was not as good in the leaks. Oh, interesting. So for the camera stuff, it's going to use the servers. That's a beautiful interface for this. And I don't just mean beautiful in the sense it looks pretty. I mean it actually looks useful. Like having all those calendar add-ons is like individual add buttons so that if something is wrong, you don't have to dismiss everything at once or agree to everything at once. Okay. Wait, but how does visual intelligence work on the iPad? On visionOS, it works by literally knowing what you're looking at. On macOS, it works through screenshots, so it's very nicely system optimized. It will be. That's what she said. I would like to know how much of this can be on device and how much of this, like right with Siri, is private cloud compute based. But then again, doesn't really matter at that point, right? Like, how often are you really without internet for this stuff? Okay. It's exactly what I wanted Siri to be, like a chatbot version, which again, I'm not the biggest fans of chatbots, but the fact that it's this deep in the OS across the board, I really hope it's also nicely integrated in other languages and it's not going to take like a year to go from English to like then German, French, and Spanish. Young 3 saying no audio in and out. Guys, let me know. Is that your experience right now for me? Because you should, like, you mean my audio, right? Not the audio of the event. You. Oh yeah, my audio is down. Wait, or is it only? Weird. Wait. Can you hear me now? My mic shows it's working. Can you? Okay. Okay, I guess. Hey guys, can you hear me now? Okay, good. I hope. Ah, man, now I missed some stuff. We'll see about Discord calls later on, Benvenu. It's not fixed. Wait, I haven't said much yet. Calls later, not fixed. Is that a problem with my OBS or whatever? Or is that my problem with my stream? Yeah, I have it on my iPad. It's a little bit in and out. I can hear that. It has no dropped frames or anything. I guess it's... Guys, I would really appreciate if you told me if the audio is fixed for you. No, it does not seem to be fixed. Still stupid. Of course it's happening. Of course the one stream where it happens is for around WWDC. Oh, Benvini, you're saying you can hear it. Weird. Maybe it's a YouTube issue? Maybe you need to restart the streams? It's for around WWDC. Okay, so that was a YouTube. Oh, I know what happened. Oh, it wasn't our fault at all. YouTube sometimes switches servers for a stream if a stream lasts long enough. That wasn't my fault. It was YouTube. It probably switched our stream on a server in the cloud, and that resulted in issues. So guys, refresh your apps, because Young D, I was gonna blame you for a second, but no, it's actually everyone's apps. Refresh them for a second, and then you will get it. I see it's fixed that for me on the iPad as well. So that's a YouTube problem. Okay, so unfortunately, I missed a lot of Safari features. I apologize for that. Yeah, just I get I guess that's because we hit the 2-hour streaming mark and YouTube decided to offload our stream to another server. Or sometimes it has a difference between what servers do streams with a lot of viewers get, or smaller streams like ours. We might have been downgraded from a higher priority server to a lower one. But it's fixed now. Yeah, maybe I'm on the YouTube blacklist. Guys, send me super chats to test that. Oh, home improvements. With analysis of what's happening. This has to be, though, behind the paywall. Analyzing exactly what's happening. Yeah, the Siri upgrades are really good so far. They are system-wide integrated. That's quite nice. UPS yesterday. The delivery guy looked funny in the preview. There's a lot of just generally cool platform stuff. Guys, let me know. I see you guys are praising notifications. Do you mean system-wide notifications? Oh, shortcuts, which Mark Gurman also leaked. Okay, now I actually think way more people are going to use shortcuts now. This is cool. This is the proper way to make shortcuts. I wish they changed the design a bit more of the shortcuts app, though. Well, Benvini will have to see how they release this. I wouldn't be surprised if a little bit of this is like differently staged out, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a pretty quick release schedule. Photorealism comes to Image Playground, another Mark Gurman leak. I'm not a big fan of too much, but I know the people like it, and Apple has to serve customers. Oh, modifying images. That's going to be expand features and stuff like that. And holding a large chocolate cake. Yeah. Okay, I wonder if Apple is going to have some paid Siri tier, because there's a lot of cloud access here. I wonder if some of it is just going to get baked into like Apple One or iCloud subscriptions. That's a nice interface for image generation, image changes. Yeah, Benveni, I agree. This is creepy, but it's what unfortunately most consumers want. I'm not a great fan of this either. I will criticize it on its own merits, like saying, oh, it looks better than it used before, or the user interface for it is nice, but I'm not going to go out of my way. Like, I would prefer all of this looked like Genmoji. And yes, another Mark Gurman feature, which is generatable wallpapers. But oh man, they all have that AI look. No, can't count me out for that. Wait, one thing they haven't talked yet about is integrating other models, right? Like Gemini being in there or ChatGPT. Oh, now they're going to talk about photos. Deep respect for the craft of photography. Let's see what you mean by that. Oh, they're going to talk about how the images are identifiable as AI, right? Clean up, extend, and reframe. Exactly what Mark Gurman. That Mark Gurman leak was pretty good. But then again, it was just a week before, so yeah, of course. Yeah, cleanup gets all the stuff that people have seen from Samsung and Google. Yeah. Nah, that's creepy. Straightening a crooked horizon, that doesn't sound bad. Okay. Oh, a spatial thing. Spatial reframing. That's the first thing that sounds cool. Man, there's so much cool like stuff that also benefits Apple Vision Pro. Oh man, I really hope they don't stop improving on it. At some point, I would like either a Vision Pro or Apple glasses that essentially run Vision OS. They wouldn't be showing the base iPhone 17 though, even just like out of like they always show the most high-end product. I think they would be much more likely to show the iPhone Air than they are the 17. And I'm not saying that because of RAM or anything. I just Apple wants to advertise the iPhone Pro with it. Okay, the spatial stuff looks cool and it seems to run well on the iPhone. That's what Apple previewed a couple of months ago an LLM for. So nice to see it actually come out. Apple wrote a white paper about it. Okay, they're doing it about as tastefully as this stuff could be done. It's not redrawing the actual image, but only the extra stuff. They're using on-device models for the spatial stuff, and the image generation comes from private cloud compute. Probably because anything under 64 gigs of RAM wouldn't do that quite well. Oh, all Apple. Okay, daily usage limit, but pay. Yes. Okay, iCloud Plus based. Exactly what I predicted. I'm getting so much because I have Apple One, the highest tier with 2 terabytes, and my family also purchased another 2 terabyte. So I'm paying for 4 terabytes of iCloud Plus. Yeah, Riley, we're gonna see if gaming comes with macOS. $12 gigs RAM limitation, baby. Okay, Benveni, here you have your answer. Siri AI first launches in beta. So not in the EU, right? I'm not. Okay. Regulatory stuff. They're open about this. Oh, that's quite a nice calendar design. And yeah, and they're talking about app intents for third parties. No, Benveni, you won't be able to sue Apple. Sorry. Pro devices get pro stuff. Has always been the case. You know that. Like, it's the same thing. When the iPhone 15 Pro came out, some of their new AAA games didn't run on the iPhone 15 that came out the very same year. And also the same features, it's basically the same features that are running on device with 8 gigs of RAM. They're just worse. Craig wallpapers. Craig feed pics. Give us feed pics. Core AI. Moving on from Core ML. That's a good slogan. Enhanced by intelligence or AI, not replaced by it. Oh. Does Apple integrate their own agentic coding into Xcode now? Claude? Gemini? Oh, but they're not doing their own agents stuff yet. Yeah, it's not in the EU right away. Yeah. I'm not surprised. It took them a while to bring the original Apple Intelligence stuff to the EU as well. We'll have to see how long it takes them now with Siri AI. Oh, more. Wait, we are not done yet, are we? Wait, are we done? Or is turn is gonna come out now? I would be disappointed if that was everything. Wait, a WWDC is just an hour long. That's such a short WWDC. No hardware, no home OS. Jesus. So I guess it's all coming in September once Turnus is actually CEO. Yeah, if they're ending on an emotional note from Tim, there will be no one more thing. That's crazy short. Really, you couldn't announce like Home OS or like the HomePad? Appreciation. Starring Eric the Architect. I thought this was like a backrooms I don't really care about this. Apple Intelligence features are available on iPhone 15 Pro and later, but the most powerful on-device model is limited to newer iPhones, iPads, and Macs. Developers are getting to Siri AI today. Yeah, that's not surprising. But it's not going to be available in the EU initially. Yeah, that's not very surprising, given that we still don't have stuff like iPhone mirroring in the EU. Yeah, we have now the... I don't care, the rap stuff. No new features to Apple Music. How many more features do you need in Apple Music? That's like the last thing I'm interested in. Where is gaming stuff? Really? We're not even gonna mention metal again? Like, I understand they're probably gonna talk about it during the... But like, you could have used this to actually talk about stuff. I'm gonna make myself smaller. I mean, yeah, whatever. macOS audio capture, maybe. That's... Why is it so short? Really, they had no games to announce. They had nothing about metal anymore. The processing times for the Siri request seems a bit longer. Yeah, but that makes sense. These requests are much more involved. It's if something like just create a calendar event that has no input based on web knowledge or something like that. If that takes longer, then it's a bit of a downgrade. But it's understandable given how everything works. But as long as it's actually always more correct, I'll take it. Man, because they are leaving so much in the air, because they're saying they're launching it for Apple Watch, right? But like, what about the HomePod? And man, I don't even care. Look, I know I'm losing out because I'm in the EU. I understand that. I'm fine with that. I'm just a little confused about the total schedule for it all. Well, that was the Tim message at the end. No, he said he was grateful for it all. I'm just surprised that Turnus didn't come out and they didn't talk about the transition at all. Wait, newsroom? It. This seems to be a new format, unlike different segments for different OS. Kangaroo, they should create a 15-minute EU version of the keynote in the future. No, there will be, all of this will come out eventually in the EU. It's not like that, but I mean, Apple previous new child safety due to DMA, Siri AI delayed in the EU for iOS. Oh, wow, Apple is really making this political. Hey, Siri, stop. That activated my HomePod. Apple expands App Store capabilities to help developers grow and reach new users. Is that about just APIs, or is it actually about stuff like rules? Okay, I mean, open link in new private tab, open link in new private tab, open link in new private tab, and open link in new private tab. Let's see what Apple prioritizes here. So, App Store capabilities. Apple continuously invests in new features and services to help developers succeed and users discover their next favorite app. New App Store capabilities rolling out this year will give developers more flexibility to market their apps, acquire new users, and offer brand new business models for Apple in a purchase. New ways to market apps and games. This year, developers will have more ways to showcase their apps on the App Store with creative assets, rich images, and videos that appear in the product page header and search results. In addition to standard screenshots and previews, these assets can be used to highlight the brand, promote seasonal offerings, or showcase new content. So this is a lot of what Apple shows in the For You page, but that's curated content that goes through Apple. So now it's going to be available for everyone, essentially, and directly in search as well. They also work with custom product pages and product page optimization, so developers can test and learn what resonates best. App Store Connect also supports a product page preview, so developers can see how their creative assets, descriptions, and screenshots appear in iPhone and iPad across languages, in dark mode, and in portrait or landscape. The new asset library helps developers move faster across marketing workflows with one place in App Store Connect to manage all creative assets, app preview videos, and screenshots. By the way, guys, if you're watching and enjoying this, please like the video, share it out with anybody who you think might enjoy it, comment live. Let me know, like Riley, that you're in a coma or whatever. I wasn't a fan of the structure of this WWDC. They basically entirely left the platform stuff, like not the platform stuff, but the individual OS stuff. They married it to all the other stuff, right? To the three main points, which is platform, like performance, whatever, right? Then trust and safety, that kit stuff, and then Apple Intelligence and Siri. They basically didn't talk about the individual operating systems or platforms at all, and instead integrated it with everything. I'm a bit disappointed by the structure. The actual Siri stuff is interesting. It's a shame to be missing out on it for a while. In the EU, I would be interesting to know how stable it already is, because there isn't that much new stuff in there. Like, I would expect it to be quite a stable first beta. Now, maybe not iPhone level stable, but maybe iPad level. I'm already looking if the iPad shows a developer beta for iOS 27, iPadOS 27. Not yet. Only, wait, what if I turn it off? Go back. No, it only shows the betas for iPadOS 26 yet. Developers can also submit assets for app review approval independent of an app update, ideal for rolling out seasonal imagery or coordinating with an Apple Ads campaign without delay. Okay, this is all nice developer stuff. Enhanced discovery and engagement. Yeah, none of this is actually user facing. Like StoreKit 2, volume purchasing, streamlined submissions. Like this is all cool for developers, but I doubt this is going to be very interesting to us. Let's see how Apple feuds with the European Union for a little bit. Due to DMA, Siri AI delayed in EU for iOS 27 and iPadOS 27. All right, it will come to the Mac, because the Mac is not designated as a gatekeeper platform because its market share is too small. Case B1 is wasn't battery optimization expected. My speculation is that batteries only optimized so far, as that the extra performance does not actually kill battery life. It's basically impossible to get both. Right? You cannot get like 30 to 70% improvements in some stuff and then say, oh, but my battery is also magically better. Apple's OS was never that poorly designed. Apple today introduced Siri AI, an entirely new version of Siri powered by Apple Intelligence. Unfortunately, due to the Digital Markets Act, called DMA, Apple will not be able to ship Siri AI in the EU with the release of iOS 27 and iPadOS 27. Over the past several months, EU regulators did not accept any of Apple's proposed solutions to bring Siri AI to the EU while safely supporting other virtual assistants. Oh, so that Mark Gurman thing where you can change the model? Wait, but Jesus, what is the... Oh my God, I like the EU. I'm really appreciative of it in so many ways, but this is... Like, I understand Apple is changing, probably is presenting this in a way that makes them sound the best, but I wouldn't know what higher standards? Like, if freaking ChatGPT can launch, why wouldn't, is it because it's built into the platform, right? Is it anti-competitive shit? We are deeply disappointed that our EU users won't have Siri AI on iPhone or iPad when we share new software releases later this year, said Craig Federici, Apple's Senior Vice President of Software Engineering. Our hope is to eventually bring Siri AI to the EU, and we'll continue to engage with EU regulators on the path forward. However, their refusal to engage constructively on solutions that preserve privacy and security means we do not currently have a timeline for Siri AI's availability. You know what? I'm actually gonna write a letter to the EU right after this. Like, they should, because we have all these stupid initiatives, right, that always come up front in the EU or in the UK, right? It's stuff like Save Our Games or whatever, and it's like about preserving live service games in perpetuity through like you yourself hosting like another server or whatever bullshit. And I'm like, okay, the most worthless crap ever. But this, really, no EU regulator could find it in themselves? Like, this is so stupid. When iOS 27 and iPadOS 27 launch later this year, users in the EU, what does it mean? That encompasses the 27 EU member states. Okay, yeah, I know what they are. Somebody said it's also not in the UK. Can somebody verify that? Or maybe not everything is in the UK? Will not have access to Siri AI and its advanced capabilities, including the new dedicated app to revisit conversation and expanded visual intelligence experience, integrating tool for writing, Siri mode and camera on iOS, and other Siri AI capabilities announced at WWDC 2026. EU users will be able to access Siri AI on macOS, not a gatekeeper platform, right? visionOS 27 and watchOS 27. But not HomePods, right? Which is also hilarious. But I assume they're gonna launch HomeOS in the fall with HomePad or whatever they're gonna call this device. Developers located in the EU will not be able to test or use the new Siri AI features for their apps on iOS and iPadOS. Siri AI is private by design and deeply integrated across Apple's platform using on-device processing and private cloud compute, which extends the privacy and security of iPhone into the cloud. However, under EU regulators' extreme interpretation of the DMA, Apple would have to give any virtual assistant direct access to users' private data and the ability to directly control control other installed applications, which I think that Apple works with that. Not regulator, with that standards board, right? That designs like APIs for AIs nowadays. So I'm not sure if, I guess that still would be possible. But that would mean that these models are baked in from the ground. That's not really feasible. Maybe could offload the private cloud compute capabilities, but the private cloud compute capabilities are not just world knowledge. Hey Siri, stop. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why do I even have HS enabled? And the ability to, as soon as Siri AI is made available in the EU without the essential protections necessary to keep users and their data safe. Did you observe the Siri bubble reflection on the table? Yeah, that was beautiful as fuck. Again, and hey, if I had Vision OS, I would be able to use it in the. I would be able to use Siri AI on that platform. I guess I'll have it on my Mac, but man, to have it on the watch but not on the iPhone, it's just like such prime stupidity. According to EU regulators, the DMA requires Apple to give any AI. Guys, can I give you a call to action? Can you wait? EU DMA write-in or whatever. What is it called? Digital Markets Act. There it is. Accept all cookies. Gatekeepers legislation. Fact sheet. How the DMA is marking smartphone better. Blah, blah, blah. Decide. Contact us as an EU citizen. Yeah, I'm a US citizen. Guys, use this. Now, you don't have to even do it as a US citizen. You can do it as a citizen of the world, basically. But if you are in the EU, HS is, hey, digital assistant. Sorry, I just didn't want to say it to not activate my HomePod. Guys, please write in, because I'll be doing that right after the event ends, because obviously I'll have to type in my real name. Email address, whatever, message. I'm gonna write them. It's really stupid and whatever. Jesus Christ. Without the essential requires the DMA requires Apple to give any AI system nearly unlimited access to a user's device, as well as the ability to act on the access autonomously without the user's ongoing visibility and control. That includes the ability to read and send messages, make purchases, access files, and execute actions across. Oh, I see what you were doing there. No, KSP, you didn't get me to say it. Security researchers have already shown that AI systems can be hijacked to steal personal data like passwords and photos and to permanently alter files and account settings without the user's consent. As AI systems gain more capabilities, these risks are quickly increasing in frequency and scope. Riley, me who is not a EU citizen, I'm suddenly feeling like installing this on my phone. Gee, you freaking asshole. Given the serious risks to users, Apple designed a solution called Trusted System Agent, an intermediary that would allow virtual assistants to safely access the same features and capabilities as Siri AI for devices in the EU. Apple also shared a plan to launch Siri AI in the EU while gradually rolling out this new solution over an 18-month period. Okay, so I guess it might take a year or whatever, because I assume they could launch it, but the European Union just wants it all right away. The European Commission said no. In fact, the European Commission did not agree to any of Apple's proposals. Apple will continue to bring these features to the EU as safely as possible. However, the clear dangers to EU users and the regulators' failure to acknowledge these risks, there is currently no timeline for Siri AI's availability. So the features are all there, right? Because they also said that all of the new Siri AI features, right, they support the same languages as current Apple Intelligence, right? So it's literally just about, hey Siri, stop. So it's literally just about the permission of the EU. There is no language barrier for this. You know what I'm gonna do? Gonna go to my home app. Wait, my HomePod is downloading some new software. Do I have? Oh yeah, there. Wait, I cannot disable HS on the HomePod? Listen for... Okay, because I guess that's its main interaction element. Jesus. That's stupid. There should be ways to turn it off at least temporarily. Okay, that bummed me out because we're okay. I guess the new child safety features, I doubt people here are very much interested in it. It's interesting that Apple talks like they do not have separate stuff for the actual individual OS releases, right? Like it's structured very much like the WWDC was itself. So Siri AI, new intelligence tools. Apple introduces Siri AI. Wait, they have more articles? It sounds... Oh, not all... Well, I guess new Apple Intelligence stuff launches in the EU then, but not Siri AI. Oh. Why do they have that article essentially 3 times? Let's go to... Okay, I'm not a super big fan of the structure of Apple's presentation with this WWDC. It basically entirely forgoes the traditional, here is iOS 27, here's iPadOS 27, here's macOS 27, to talk primarily about the AI stuff. Guys, we have so many more people coming in. Please leave likes. Let me know in the comments what you're most interested in, what you think of the event, what you think of Siri Siri AI not coming to the European Union, whatever else you want me to talk about. And of course, if you want to support me directly, make your message a super chat or super sticker, or consider becoming a channel member right here on YouTube, or support you over on Patreon. All support goes a long way to help me make more streams, longer streams, and stuff like that. Okay, Apple today introduced Siri AI, an entirely new version of powered by Apple Intelligence, a profoundly more capable and conversational assistant with personal context and understanding, broad world knowledge, and on-screen awareness. SAI can help users find what they need in the moment, from answering questions from the web on virtually any topic, so very much chatbot stuff, radio scans and others. 76 join the chat saying just hi back. Okay, it can use information from the web on virtually any topic to surface relevant information from a user's personal messages, emails, photos, and more. So this is stuff that very much has been promised for a while. SAI also includes a dedicated app for users to revisit conversations across their products, an expanded visual intelligence experience, and integrated tools for writing. With a bold new architecture uniquely designed to protect users' privacy, SAI leverages the next generation of Apple Intelligence to bring state-of-the-art understanding and reasoning along with powerful system-wide capabilities, unless you are in the EU. Wait, WatchOS is dropping a lot of devices? Maybe. We'll see. Like, I'm not sure how Apple's is structured. Usually all of this would be now in Newsroom. So did they launch more in Newsroom, like for the individual platforms? No. So I guess there will be like a WWDC page right here, right? Oh yeah, explore the previews. Oh, they have it all here. Okay. They usually stuff like this would be linked through a Newsroom as well. But we're gonna get through this first. Okay, no kid stuff. We've covered the DMA stuff. We covered most of the important App Store changes. I doubt most of it is very interesting to people here. Bold new architecture, uniquely designed to protect users' privacy. SAI leverages the next gen of Apple Intelligence to bring state-of-the-art understanding and reasoning, along with powerful system-wide capabilities to Apple's operating systems. These features are available for developers testing starting today and will be available as a beta to users later this year. We're excited to introduce SAI, a dramatically more capable and conversational assistant designed to help users find information and get things done throughout the day. It's coming from Craig. With access to broad world knowledge for up-to-date answers on virtually any topic, along with on-screen awareness and personal context and understanding, SAI can help users take action across apps more naturally than ever. Let me look at my iPad and see if there's a new beta drop. Beta updates of... Let me see if Mac Rumors or 95 Mac have anything. WWDC. No, watchOS 27 drops support for Apple Watch Series 9, Ultra 1, SE2 and older. Wow. I guess they rewrote a lot of the core OS. That's a big cutoff, even Ultra 1. So it's basically only now in the latest generation of chips. Okay, guys, iPadOS 27 Developer Beta 1 is now available in the Settings app on my iPad. Here are the Macs compatible with Golden Gate. So all Apple Silicon models. No Intel Macs anymore. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh man, God, I hate what that EU announcement made me angry, which I guess is what Apple wanted to. Benvini saying you're installing. Well, good luck with that. I'll be installing afterwards on my iPad. I'm currently I probably will be able to just download it on my iPad right now, right, and then install it afterwards. It's 17.5 gigabytes on my iPad. I'll just gonna, because the stream is going to be much shorter. I expected the event to be 2 hours and more packed, so I thought we would need 2 hours to digest it all. But now I don't think so, to be quite honest. Like, we're probably gonna get through all the most important stuff, and like, we started at what, 8:20 p.m. We are now 20 minutes into it. I think in 40 minutes we'll be about done. Plasma Void, Intel Macs forever resting in peace in Tahoe? Exactly. No, Tahoe. There have been some Intel Macs have made it to Tahoe. Which is interesting because we have this like performance optimization release, but the Macs that suffered most from like liquid glass being more demanding, they're not actually getting that release, which is a bit funny. An entirely new, deeply integrated Siri powered by the next gen of Apple Intelligence, SAI, is a completely reimagined version that is more helpful, more capable, and more intelligent. With detailed, engaging responses and natural back and forth conversation, SAI helps users get more done than ever. It answers questions related to content on a user screen, draws on personal content, understands to search across apps, so that's why it's integrated on the Mac, like right into Spotlight search, and go out to the web to get the up-to-date information using broad world knowledge and generate a helpful answer. So it seems like it won't have like this weird cutoff that you sometimes see from certain intelligence models, where yes, nowadays they're all capable of searching the web, but sometimes they just default to the knowledge that their LLMs have baked into them by the time of training, which can be half a year or 9 months or so out of date. So it seems like Apple is really pushing for world knowledge to be up-to-date information, and for everything else, like, it's just not going to give you info, right? It's going to give you info on your own stuff, which is based on indexing your own information and analyzing what's on your screen and in your photos. But it's not going to do the, oh, here's information from 6 months ago from when my model was large trained. I'm digging the design changes and optimizations refinement. Those are my favorite things of the day. Well, they will have to be my own favorites because I'm not getting Siri AI. But it's definitely good. And by not dropping any old iPhone models, right, it's definitely helping expand a lot of goodwill. But KSB, you're saying LWWDC. I didn't like the structure of it. It felt like they had this Siri angle, but then everything else really was like, they were throwing out stuff for like Vision OS features in like in the platform capabilities, like performance like portion, and it was like almost completely unrelated. Yeah, I almost think that they maybe planned on doing more, but then scrapped something last minute. I'm not sure. There's a problem with my Mac charger. Oh, yeah. It's not charging. Nice. Thank you. Is that Mark's charging noise that keeps going off? Oh, interesting. I guess I probably, oh yeah, I see it now. I stepped on the MagSafe cable and it probably was constantly connecting and reconnecting. And I didn't hear it because I still have my headphones in. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm also more excited about the whole of iOS 27. Just the liquid glass slider will be interesting to play around with. Yeah. Benveni, you're also in the European Union, right? Or were you from the UK? You're saying you would only get this years later anyway, so I assume you're like someone who's challenged by the regulators. SAI can answer to, oh, okay, yeah, this is just, if you put together a plan to visit your pinned parks, yeah, okay, so this is based on information from the app and on the screen, which in this case is map. Based on this conversation, now it's using data from your Messages app. And this is all the stuff that made Apple apprehensive of giving that kind of deep access to the likes of ChatGPT. The new version of S is built on Apple Intelligence, allowing oh, Jesus. I don't want to say it, but my HomePod doesn't activate when I really say only Siri. But whatever. Allowing us to draw on personal context and understanding and help users find what they need in the moment across messages, emails, photos, and more. For example, users can ask Siri, as to find a restaurant recommendation a friend messaged them about, surface a hotel confirmation number from an old email, or pull up photos of friends and families from a recent trip. This is all stuff that Google and Microsoft have been pushing for a while. But then again, they keep reintroducing the same features at every new developers conference. So I'm not sure how well integrated those features are, even on like a Google Pixel. And you can see that similar to how Google had to make the cutoff with like some Pixel devices, some relatively recent Pixel devices not getting the latest Gemini features, Apple had now to do the same. And very clearly, a lot is running on device if they are prioritizing 12 gigs of RAM devices in this way. The watchOS support is brutal, yeah. Thank God I have an Ultra 2, and my mom's Series 4 wasn't supported anyway. She wants my Ultra 2. So maybe that's an extra incentive for me to get the Ultra 4 later on. Benvenuto is saying you're from the UK, but planning to move to Spain in 3 to 5 years. Oh my God. Getting subject to more draconian regulations. No watchOS 27 for SE2? Seemingly not. Seemingly not. And personal context understanding expands to third-party apps with developers when developers integrate with Spotlight.
Let's take a closer look, starting with how Siri is a much more capable assistant. I want to get right into it and show you a few things that you can now do with Siri in your day-to-day.
WWDC. Not sure if I'm even allowed to play them back. With more system-wide app actions, SAI lets users get things done across apps like drafting an email from scratch, editing or sharing a set of photos. Using on-screen awareness, SAI can answer questions related to the content on the user screen. They're kind of repeating themselves here. I almost wonder, like, they have these 3 articles, right? I know this one is specifically for SAI, for like the app, the conversational stuff, but how much will they be repeating themselves across all these articles? And I assume this one is basically, this is just everything from WWDC. Okay. For example, if a user gets a text about a potluck with friends, they can brainstorm with Siri on what to bring and then add a recipe to the Notes app. Yeah. I'm not into that kind of stuff. I know more and more people rely on AI for this stuff. It's a little much for me. In addition, SAI can use broad world knowledge to get up-to-date information from the web on virtually any topic and generate a helpful answer, such as when and where to see the next solar eclipse or when a musician is coming to town. So this is very much just broad intelligence and broad chatbot stuff. Users can extend almost any response from S into a rich conversation and ask follow-up questions. I like this wallpaper. It's not great, but it's not bad either. iPhone users can swipe down from the dynamic island to start a conversation with SAI. This is how it looks. Oh no. Oh, I can't zoom out. Thank you. Play. Okay, yeah, it looks nice. Can't wait to do a full clean install once macOS 27 hits. Yeah, that's probably the best practice, to be honest, Plasma Void. That's good thinking on your part. Benveni, preparing updates are probably 10 minutes away. Oh, and then you will... Wait, are you installing it on your iPhone? Because my iPad might disappear with my comments, but then I have my old iPhone XS Max next to me for it. But I'm probably not going to install... probably not going to install until you guys, until we have finished with the stream. Users can take advantage of this new version of S with, obviously, the move on the dynamic island. You can say HS. You can use the side button and the dynamic island swipe. On iPad and Macs, SAI is integrated into Spotlight, so users can search for answers to almost any question. It is also integrated into system-wide context menus, allowing users to control-click to ask about images, files, or text on their screen. They showed that on the Mac during WWDC. I hope they improve like screenshot stuff on the iPad for that. On Apple Vision Pro, SAI leverages spatial computing with 3D visualization that users can place anywhere in their space, and they can invoke S by simply looking at it and starting to speak. That's dope. Yeah, Dynamic Island will get smaller, but it's really not disappearing. I agree, KSB. Will 27 be the most stable 0.0 release in a long time? Hopefully. Mine is updating right now on 15 Pro. Well, good luck to you, CalRF. Let us know. And I'll probably do a stream tomorrow. Probably also gonna give you my own impressions on how it runs on my iPad and stuff. Maybe I'll be weak enough to give in and install it on my iPhone, who knows. But yeah, good luck to all of you who are installing it on your main devices. I know that always happens, right? We Apple developer beta fans always promise ourselves not this year, but then we still do it, right? What are some other examples of super hydrophobicity in nature? Okay, so this is a very general knowledge stuff. It has nothing to do with your personal stuff. I wonder if they will show you what this is based on, or if this is just private cloud compute in general. I assume it still will go through Google and stuff like that. SAI is also integrated into system-wide context menus, like here, ask, so users can control-click to ask about images, files, or text on their screen. Strive57X, first complaining improved Siri voice again. Well, that makes sense, though. You will keep improving on it. Just because it got better in iOS 12 doesn't mean it shouldn't be getting better in iOS 27, right? How do you feel about Spotlight being redesigned again? To be honest, as long as it works, right? It just has that liquid glass look, and it seems like it's accessing Siri depending on what you type. So as long as you start typing in something regular, I would assume that you're it seems like file search and everything was about as fast as it always is. So I hope that's not getting any kind of downgrade. No one in the event used an orange 17 Pro Max. Yeah, it was either blue or silver, yeah. System-wide context menus. And this is how it looks in Vision OS. Absolutely stunning. Really, really beautiful. Respect to Apple for pulling that off. We have had not memes, but like mock-ups and designs that look like that, right? So respect for Apple to make it work in actual environment. SAI leverages spatial computing with a 3D visualization that Apple Vision Pro users can place anywhere in their space, and they can invoke S by simply looking at it and starting to speak. Users can also tap into SAI across their products and where they're on the go with iPhone, Apple Watch, CarPlay, and AirPods. Apple Watch users can conveniently start a conversation with Siri right from the wrist, or a new smart text suggestion can automatically appear to help users continue a recent conversation. Okay, that makes sense. I would assume that it mostly will rely on like communicating with your iPhone for the on-device stuff, and then for private cloud compute for everything else. I'm not sure how they're pulling it off to launch this in the European Union. I know that Apple Watch is like not a gatekeeper device, but it's very much bound to a gatekeeper device according to the EU, like the iPhone. Yeah, interesting. Rebuilt from the ground up with a powerful new architecture. S has been rebuilt from the ground up with powerful AI at its core. It takes full advantage of the bold new architecture for Apple Intelligence, including the next generation of Apple Foundation models that run on device and on servers using private cloud compute. When private cloud interesting, they do not point out that private cloud compute is Apple and some stuff is Google. So Apple treats all the stuff that runs in the cloud as private cloud compute. Whether or not all of it will ever be able to migrate to Apple's own servers, or some of it will perpetually stay on Gemini servers from Google, we'll have to see. I would assume that Apple will port as much as possible to their own servers, but just for overflow capacity, they will rely on Google. And maybe for now, they will also rely on them for the most advanced questions. When private cloud compute is handling users' requests, their personal data is not stored nor made accessible to Apple or anyone else. Outside experts can continue to verify this privacy promise at any time. Additionally, SAI uses the system orchestrator to tap into core capabilities like Spot, Index, and App Toolbox, which work entirely on device to keep users in control of their data. I mentioned it before, just less so App Toolbox, but like constantly having Spotlight, Index scan your stuff to be as up-to-date as possible, that alone will be a motivation for this Siri to be like on devices that have better cooling, better batteries, more RAM, faster storage. So yeah, over time, I wouldn't be surprised if even more capabilities eventually then became locked, or they were at least enhanced by like devices with 16 gigs of RAM or 24 at some point, right? They could even at some point offer you, and I speculated on that in previous streams, they could in theory offer you an even better Siri model on like Macs with 32 gigs or more. So that will be fascinating. With powerful new features and unrivaled privacy protection, Siri remains the world's most private digital assistant. Logan Collard saying you're also updating now. Good luck, man. Plasma Void, I'm hoping they optimize the actual indexing process. They did say that, so you don't have to hope for that. They actually said that they made the indexing process more efficient, less error prone in a way, and they optimized it for performance, which either means that at night or like that the indexing happens at more opportune moments, or that it's actually faster. I didn't quite get all of it from the event. A powerful on-device model brings new capabilities. For products that supports Apple's most advanced on-device model ever, Siri AI offers even more expressive voices, as well as a major boost in accuracy with system-wide dictations. Users have the ability to customize the expressiveness and pace of Siri's voice, so it's just right for them. First of all of this shows me that the base iPhone 18 is 100% getting 12 gigs of RAM, but now I'm also wondering about the iPhone 18e, right? Because imagine if the iPhone 18e comes out, but it does not support this extra SAI stuff. That would be a bit weird. So will we get like 12 gigs of RAM from everything from iPhone 18e to iPhone Ultra? That would be quite hilarious. Dictation now captures what users say as polished text with greater precision, automatically handling capitalization, punctuation, and formatting as they speak. With improved speech understanding, users can speak naturally and trust that their words will appear clearly, accurately, and as intended. Let's see how Siri sounds here.
Hi, let's find the right voice for you. I'll practice some things I like to say while you listen.
Oh, I couldn't hear it, but you guys probably could hear it.
Here's another one. Your timer is...
Yeah, the update is big, Color F. It was 17.5 gigabytes on my iPad.
Stop sign, turn right.
A Strive. Mine is always rebuilding, probably because I use NAS drives. Yeah, that is going to really be a hindrance to indexing. I assume you mean on your Mac, right? But Apple spoke about Spotlight being improved across the board, basically, with the new 27 release. A dedicated Siri app to revisit conversations. Guys, we have so many people watching, as many people as we have likes. I'm sure some of you still have not left a like yet. Please do so. It helps tremendously. It helps us attract more people. It helps us grow the stream. It helps us grow the channel. It really, really helps. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done so. Share the video out with anybody who you think might enjoy it. Like the video and comment. Let me know what you think, what you agree with me with, what you disagree with, what you thought of WWDC. Again, this is one of those things where I like the announcements of WWDC. I even like the kids stuff, right? Which sounds weird when I put it that way, right? But I didn't like the structure of the WWDC. It felt like they really put the Siri stuff above everything else. And I know that throughout the years, sometimes we ask for it, like find a major theme and then cover it throughout the perspective of each individual platform. But now that it actually happened, I kind of have to say I do prefer it when Apple first talks about iPhone, then iPad and stuff like that. I watch Apple's live. Well, I mean, we all did. You were even able to watch me react to it live, just not with Apple, with the WWDC in the background. So, a dedicated S app to revisit conversations. When users want to revisit a past conversation or kick off a new one, they can open an all-new dedicated Siri app. The S app uses iCloud to privately sync conversational history across a user's product so they can start chatting with S on Mac and continue the conversation on iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, or Apple Vision Pro. Again, it's insane that this does not include the HomePod, the device that's mainly controlled through Siri. They really got to deliver on the successor here. And I wonder if some of it might have been cut, right? Like, we literally, like, for example, where's Apple TV, right? Will that be part of the fall, right? We're getting a new HomePod, a HomePad, a new Apple TV that can actually fit now Siri intelligence. And will Apple talk about that software in the fall? Like saying, oh, now tvOS supports this, now HomeOS or AudioOS supports that? I like that user interface. I like basically everything they announced. I just am not a great fan of the structure. Plasma Void, looking forward to screenshots of macOS Golden Gate, Finder windows, thumbnails, system settings. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get to the individual platforms. I'm not sure if we're going to do that today or maybe tomorrow. The more you guys keep engaging with me, and hey, if you send a super chat or two, the more I'm motivated to stay here for longer. Siri with visual intelligence now across iPad, Mac, and Apple Vision Pro. S now offers powerful image understanding and multimodal capabilities. Hey, multimodal! Apple uses the same words as Google and all those people. So users can ask questions about visual content. On iPhone S, multimodal capabilities are integrated right into the camera app, unless you're in the European Union, with a brand new S mode allowing users to get information and take action on what's in front of them. Users can simply tap the shutter button to let S see what they see and receive useful responses. S mode and camera also includes a rich new set of actions, including the ability to split a bill with friends using Apple Cash, get nutritional insights, that's something Mark Gurman said, and more. What do they advertise as and more? In 2. The ability is available in the US on eligible devices. Apple Cash services are provided by Apple. Okay, so this is more like just logistic stuff around it. Yeah, these are the capabilities of visual. This is not a large array of features yet, right? But they did not talk much about it working with like your PDFs and Word for files and Pages files. It's going to be interesting how well that works, if at all, right? Like it showed you that Siri can now do like graphs internally, but could it pull it up as like a PDF for me? So I could send it to somebody completely irrespective of iPhone or iPad and without taking like silly low resolution screenshots? That would be interesting. Mark can be bought, let it be known. During the streams, absolutely Plasma Void. Hey Siri, stop. For the first time, visual intelligence with S also comes to iPad and Mac, allowing users to search visually, ask questions, and take actions on their screen seamlessly. On iPad, visual intelligence is integrated right into the screenshot experience. Okay. On Mac, users can tap into it with a dedicated keyboard shortcut, which I assume will be similar to the stuff that makes screenshots as a shortcut, allowing them to select something on their Mac display and type directly to S to get a helpful answer. Visual intelligence also expands to Apple Vision Pro, allowing users to ask Siri about things just by looking at them, from the content inside app windows to physical objects around them. Yeah, okay. I mean, they showed that during the event, but at least, yeah. I wish they would have expanded the screenshot capabilities on the iPad more from this, especially with like shortcuts, given the fact that how many people use their iPads with keyboards and stuff like that. Going to be interesting. Going to be interesting to see how they expand on it. iPadOS is definitely not getting a huge update this year, right? So... I assume they will keep improving everything from like performance and stuff like that, but that's just part of all these releases. But they're also not very... they're not advertising any big feature changes to anything from Stage Manager, multitasking windows, whatever. I mean, I guess some of it, like they did have this huge list of small features, right? Not all of them were performance optimizations. They mentioned stuff like ultra large widgets on iPhone, right? Which I reacted to during the stream. So I would like to see that full list, right? And seeing what of that is interesting. And hopefully 9to5 Mac or whatever will put out one of their, or Zolo Tech will put out one of their large videos, right? That's like half an hour long or 40 minutes long with every new features in iOS 27 and stuff like that. A smarter way to write and edit virtually anywhere with SAI. S now offers integrated writing tools that are more powerful than ever, allowing users to write with SAI virtually anywhere they type. Users can describe what they need, and Siri can generate a draft from scratch to get the ball rolling. If a user wants to refine what they've written, they can describe the change they want to make, and Siri can quickly update it. Yeah, this is better writing tools. It's not surprising. I mean, they have better models, both on device and on the cloud now. It's now their own stuff rather than a lot of stuff like this would have previously been like relegated to ChatGPT. So I'm not surprised that all of this is better. I mean, that's something that we've discussed alongside all the Mark Gurman leaks, right? It's not that all of this is just more features. It's literally a lot of stuff that we have now been familiar with Apple Intelligence, but now better because of better models, better hardware, better servers, all that stuff. When writing in mail and messages, Siri can reflect how users usually communicate with each recipient. This is one thing that I would love to see be, and that's especially a thing in the European Union, that's a thing that I would love to see be also multi-language aware. right? So maybe with one person in messages, I write in German. With another, I'm writing in English. I would also love that if this capability got expanded to other apps like Signal and WhatsApp and third-party mail clients like Gmail and Outlook. We'll have to see. Again, this is the first true new step, so we'll have to see. Obviously, Apple is making a lot of capabilities available through APIs and stuff like that. We'll have to see how much of that gets adopted and how capable all of it is for now. This includes the punctuation and tone they typically use with a recipient. So, for example, with your boss, even if you write like an iMessage, you might still do it in a very grammar-aware way. If you're writing with your significant other, it might be much more relaxed. The same goes for tone, obviously. For example, if users normally send their manager short bullet points, that's what will populate when they draft an email with Siri. S can also give users tips and suggestions to improve their written work. Plus, S now automatically proofreads for users as they type across the system. So this is something that Mark Gurman mentioned. Basically, a Grammarly competitor. Makes sense. And it's hopefully it's done well. Again, I'll be interested to see how much of this is on-device based, how much of this is has to delegate to the cloud. If it's constantly doing that, I'm actually a little bit torn, because if it's constantly happening, then that would eat up battery life and system performance. But obviously, if it's always relying on private cloud compute, that's also constant internet access. But that's, I assume, less intensive and less resource wasting, including within most third-party apps. I just cannot bring myself to use my iPad like this. I'm sorry. I know people have been asking for this with this full windowing mode, but it's just not something I'm interested in. What's funny, my iPad still shows update requested. It's not actually downloading yet. It's only communicating with the cloud, but it still slows down my internet. Additional Apple Intelligence capabilities make everyday apps smarter. The next gen of Apple Intelligence also brings exciting new features to the app users. Really? Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's buffering like crazy. No idea why. And my OBS doesn't show any dropped frames or anything. It's just bad. So I guess people started coming home in the evening and now my internet is shit. I'm not even connected to Wi-Fi, guys, by the way. I'm connected literally through an Ethernet cable with an adapter on my Mac. Something randomly just slowed down my internet. It's a second example of me having tech issues today that have nothing to do with me. I'm not downloading iPadOS on my iPad with my home internet. I'm downloading through 5G to specifically not slow down my Mac. So something literally just screwed up my internet at home. Jesus Christ. And on the one stream in the year where it really matters. Jesus Christ. It's like, no, Plasma, yeah, okay, I cleared it up for you guys. No, it's literally just my home internet decided to act up out of nowhere. Apple Intelligence brings powerful AI capabilities into everyday experiences. Guys, let me know, by the way, is the is the stream quality good for you? Because my iPad only shows me like in 240p, but that might be more to blame, honestly, on the fact that my iPad is downloading something in the background. And guys, by the way, thank you so much for coming back. I see we now have at least 20 people watching now. That actually means a lot. Let me briefly check my quality on my iPhone here. That one is connected to Wi-Fi, and it seems like it's working. Okay, good. But I'm gonna downgrade my quality here, so at least it's not using my Wi-Fi alongside my Mac. Okay. We can continue. I apologize. Oh my God, I'm so stressed out for no good reason. Like, it's not my fault. I prepared all tech perfectly, and we had server issues, and now just a general internet problem, which is crazy. Apple today introduced the next gen of Apple Intelligence, powered by a bold new architecture that integrates the latest Apple Foundation models deep to Apple's platforms and is uniquely designed to protect users' privacy. It's basically all stuff that we have talked about already. Frame-worthy compositions with new ways to edit photos. The Photos app taps into more powerful image models so users can make incredible edits while respecting the original moment it was captured. Photos adjusted with Apple Intelligence will automatically include a hidden Synth ID watermark. So that's something that Google has started doing as well. So I believe a lot of industry people have been pushing this. This is so that images can be identified as having been made or edited with AI. So that's how reframe works. In the Photos app, special reframing lets users improve the composition of an image after it has been taken. Let me replay that. Let me zoom out. Touch and drag to adjust the perspective. Wait, oh, this is actually live here? No, wait, oh, wait, is it live? It just happened to do what I was doing with my mouse cursor. It's crazy. Yeah, it's not actually live generated. I'm so stupid. With spatial reframing, users can improve the composition of a photo after it's been taken. Spatial reframing builds on Apple's deep understanding of spatial models thanks to Apple Vision Pro, so users can touch and drag and drag a photo and preview in real time. Yeah, my most loyal German viewer. But the problem is, Jan, you're saying it's a slap in the face. But in this case, it's really not Apple's fault, right? Look, I've been a big defender of the European Union in many ways on political and military fronts and stuff like that. But this really seems just like regulatory overreach. Like they want Apple to just by default give everyone the same system access. It's not how I want my iPhone to function. If I wanted that, I would get an Android device. I would get a Windows PC. Like, even on Mac, I could do all this stuff with OpenClaw through some other AI agent, but I choose not to. Oh, God. Yeah. Jan, thanks for reminding me about this. Spatial reframing builds on Apple's deep understanding of spatial models, thanks to Apple Vision Pro, so users can touch and drag a photo and preview in real time how the perspective shifts, as if they'd repositioned the camera in the original scene. Using powerful image models, spatial reframing will only generate new content where the perspective has been shifted, ensuring the reframed photo stays consistent with the original scene. Playing that back again. Yeah, this is extend tool. That is the easiest one. That one has been done by others. Better version of cleanup and stuff like that. Right, that's also there. Users can also expand images with the extend tool, give their subjects more breathing room. They can that can be used alongside requests like straightening a crooked horizon without cropping out anything important, adjust aspect ratios, for example, use an image then later as a wallpaper or whatever, and extend will fill in the missing pieces. Additionally, the popular cleanup tool gets a major upgrade so users can remove distractions with better quality and more realistic infill, even when the scene is complex. I wonder if stuff like this is also subject to like different models between the 8 GB of the RAM devices and 12 and more gigs. Yeah, but this is the original, and now they're being cleaned up. Intelligence, new tools to browse in Safari and upgrade passwords. With the power of Apple Intelligence, new tools transform how users can browse the web in Safari. This is the stuff that I mostly missed out on during the event. So I'll be reading that in a little bit more detail. The intelligence in Safari is built with privacy in mind, delivering powerful capabilities without exposing personal browsing data to anyone, including Apple. This is interesting. They really are doubling down on privacy more so than I expected for the new generation of Apple Intelligence. I thought, look, I never expected Apple to completely go back on their focus on privacy and security, but they're still just as committed as they were before. And I assume this also means that Turnus is just as committed to it as Tim was. Will be interesting. And I assume that for the EU, they will at some point find something the EU likes, but they will really advertise it as like basically use all non-Apple stuff here at your own peril, right? Because we are the ones that are privacy focused, and exposing all of that system access already makes you less safe, but then you're now also beholden to much worse industry practices by those other AI companies. Safari can now simplify multi-tab browsing by automatically organizing a user's tabs into relevant topics. So that's something that Gurman was talking about. For example, if a user is planning a weekend trip, Safari can bring together all of their travel planning tabs into one topic. As users browse, Safari will continue to organize new tabs into existing topics or create existing ones. To be honest, I don't care about this stuff too much. I don't need my system to act that much proactively. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's all your tabs, and then it's looking which ones are related, and then it's sorting them under topics. Like one is coffee, puzzles, book festival. Yeah, none of it is too interesting to me here. With Notify Me, users can ask Safari to monitor a web page for changes. That one is great. That one should be like a widget, basically. But even that being integrated just into Siri already sounds good. Like product restocks or price drops, so they can stay on top of updates they care about. Users can tell Safari what they're looking for, and when Safari detects a change on that web page, they'll get a notification so they can take action. Users can, that's Notify Me. And when Safari, wait, what is the feature here in Messages? That's a quick question. Are you afraid of heights? Wait, what is that related to here? I'm not sure what this is, what this correlates to, because this is clearly monitoring a web page and Notify Me. I don't know what this is actually related to. Maybe I missed something. Building on its ability to alert users about weak and compromised passwords, passwords can now automatically fix this for users with just a tap. That's also a cool feature. Doesn't have to be Apple Intelligence based, to be honest. You can generate a password like that algorithmically. But this is almost like an agentic task, like being somewhat proactive here. Using Apple Intelligence and Safari to agentically, oh wow, so Apple was aware that it's quite an agentic task. Take action on a user's behalf. Password securely navigates through websites to sign in and upgrades their accounts to strong passwords. Let's see if my... Okay. Yeah. With describing extensions, users can create custom Safari extensions simply by describing what they want. Safari will then generate the custom extension right in the toolbar. What? Oh, I missed that during the event. Like getting a button to save and rate recipes a user has tried. That's cool. I mean, it's basically agentic coding. Yeah, and this is how it then looks as an extension. That's cool. That's a little bit similar to Google allowing you to create your own widgets, but just very Safari integrated. Photorealistic images with an all-new Image Playground. Image Playground offers new powerful ways for users to bring their imaginations to life. They can create high-quality images in virtually any style, now including photorealistic, thanks to a new generative model that runs on private cloud compute. So again, according to Gurman, you will be able to offload that to other AIs, and you currently already have some of that in the Image Playground app. So I wonder if that's a problem with the EU, we'll have to say. This is a major transformation for image generation across platforms, and generated images will automatically include a hidden synth ID watermark to identify them as AI generated. So the same thing as with regular photos. Image Playground makes it easy and intuitive to modify images. Users can describe the changes they want to make, or simply tap, circle, or brush to highlight an object to move or resize it.
Let's say you're...
Okay, this is just a cutout from the WWDC. New ways to utilize the images they create, which is interesting. I have not yet seen the Genmoji stuff that Mark Gurman talked about. In addition to places like messages, Image Playground can now be used to generate lock screen wallpapers and contact posters. Users are also able to choose the aspect ratio for what they're working on. Yeah, makes sense. Like, nothing in this here is crazy. These are necessary features. But by the way, this is something that can sometimes struggle with a chatbot. A very generalized chatbot, you can tell it to target a certain aspect ratio, and it will often get it wrong, especially on the free tiers. So if this works without fail, now maybe not every generated image will be a hit, but if at least can always do the correct aspect ratio, that alone would be good. Powerful features for staying on top of communication and scheduling. Now Messages offers one-tap suggestions based on the context of users' conversation. For example, if someone asks for photos, Messages can also help users find the right ones, recognizing. So it has to run all the time in the background. That's a lot of system resources. It helps users find right ones, recognizes keywords, locations, and people in their library to find the best options. Additionally, suggestion, man, making all of that available to ChatGPT and Claude, yeah, this would be a hard sell for Apple internally. Additionally, suggestions and mail become even more capability with the ability to take action with third-party apps. And Smart Reply and Mail Messages can now draw on users' personal writing, user's personalized writing style. Yeah, this is where also like writing with Siri comes into play. It's basically based on all that. Yeah, surface relevant information, so like add to reminders, add to notes. You can search for photos based on what people have been asking you. And you can even perform a task like managing an open table reservation. Or at least surfacing one that's in your mail or messages. When users call a business, call context proactively surfaces relevant information, like a confirmation code or a reservation number, directly in the phone app. For example, if a user calls an airline to change a flight, the phone app can automatically find their confirmation code in email. KSP wants to optimize the system better just to give space to Siri to hijack system resources. In a way, I actually think yes, but that will be up to you. Hey, if you don't want it, or if you're in the EU and you don't even get those features right away, just turn them off, or obviously don't have them to begin with, and profit from a system that's much more powerful. But now I'm really not interested, I have to say, in the iPhone 18 Pro Max, because with barely a larger battery than the 17 Pro Max, like maybe the 2nm chip will be way more efficient, but it does not have more RAM, it doesn't have a larger battery. Like, I guess it will, and plus, at the time when it comes out, I would assume that none of the major features will yet be available in the EU anyway. So if I were to buy anything this year, it would probably be the iPhone Fold for the iPhone Ultra for the actual Fold capabilities, right? But I might actually just wait for next year, to be quite honest. I'm just gonna wait for 2027, and who knows, maybe they will have a 16 gigs of RAM iPhone Ultra 2. That would be quite a nice upgrade from an iPhone 17 Pro Max. But we'll have to see, obviously. Or even an 18 or a 19 Pro Max, or the iPhone 20, whatever they're going to call the Pro model that year. Maybe with a silicon carbon battery and 6,000 to 7,000 milliampere hours. That would go quite hard as well. Call context looks at who the user is calling, not what they're saying, to surface helpful information. Google would not have that restriction. It runs entirely on device, so nothing is shared with Apple or anyone else. Apple Intelligence also makes it possible to add or modify events in Calendar just by describing the event. As users types, Calendar will identify context and locations and create a title for the event. Mark, do you want me to send a screenshot? I just got iOS 27. Send it all in Discord. By the way, guys, I haven't shouted Discord out today. Send all your stuff in Discord. I would love to know what you like, what you want. I already see tvOS 27 drop some support. Yeah, and apparently the more advanced model is called Apple Foundation Model Core Advanced. The new person is joking. This will still be based on FSR. That's the joke about MetalFX upscaling. Oh yeah, you guys have posted quite a lot. It's just my Discord needed some time to download it all. To anyone who is interested in following that up, go to the Discord. It's linked in the channel description, not in the video description. So also follow me on Twitter. I'll keep talking about these topics, of course, in next coming days and weeks and months. But after today's stream, I'll definitely need a little bit break. Not like I'll be able to stream tomorrow if work allows it, but I'm also today I'll be tired, so I'll probably just install the update on my iPad and afterwards go to bed. In the phone app, call context per FTX. Okay, that's exactly what they were saying on top. And here as well. KSB, you're also installing the update on the iPad. The Siri is gone and you have to join a waiting list. Well, I mean, yeah, but remember the waiting list like with iOS 18? It was like an hour or two. Like, I doubt. There's a new screen when you update about Image Playground. That's not surprising. So much new stuff. The icon is so pretty, and they show that you can show the LG intensity right after you update as well. That's user-friendly. But I definitely didn't expect the liquid glass slider to make its way actually from like available on iPad with A16 chip. I would be surprised if it weren't, right? Because like iPadOS. Man, there are still other features, right? Like design system performance. So this is what iPadOS is available on. iPad Pro, M4, and later. Oh, okay, yeah, they have different names for this. Yes, it works on the A16 iPad JMax. Obviously, it also works on older iPad Pro. So they just used to call them not based on the chips, but on the generation, which makes this look really confusing. So you see, there are not a ton of features. A lot of it is primarily Apple Intelligence. That's why they bring it up as an extra platform in a way. But yeah, hey. At least you got iPadOS 27 on your A16 iPad. Enjoy. Tony Tong 3625. Could you cover what performance improvements did Apple make? Right after this, I'll bring it up and then we'll see. Guys, if you want more concrete topic suggestions to definitely reach me and everything, please find it in yourself to make something a super chat or whatever to just so I am a little bit more motivated, because I've now been streaming for 3.5 hours. I'm slowly becoming tired, but I also see we have more people coming back into the stream, so I don't want to end it right now. Just keep chatting, and if you have the money, make it a super chat. When does it come out? Well, the first beta for developers is out today. It's out now, literally now. But for everyone else, it's releasing mid-September, as always, with the latest iPhone, right? Easier ways to build powerful shortcuts. Shortcuts helps users get things done faster by automating a wide range of tasks. And now with Describe a Shortcut, it's more approachable than ever. Leveraging the power of Apple Intelligence, shortcuts can now take a user's description and assemble the required steps on their behalf. If a user sees something they need to tweak or add, they can simply describe their change, and the Shortcuts app makes the adjustments. For example, users can describe a shortcut to automate things like setting their morning alarm each evening based on their first event and calendar the next day, automatically opening their favorite productivity apps with a specific window arrangement when they connect their iPad to their Magic Keyboard. I think that a lot of like design mock-ups actually have that feature for quite a few years, right? Like when you connect Magic Keyboard, it starts into like productivity mode. A lot of people have suggested that when you connect an iPad to the Magic Keyboard, it should start up something like macOS. So that would actually be interesting. Just I know that shortcut would already be possible, but just dictating turn off windowing mode whenever disconnecting from Magic Keyboard and turn it on whenever connected. That seems like a good shortcut. Or turning on their porch lights at night when they get a notification that their food delivery is arriving. Man, I understand why giving all that data access really would suck for Apple. Like, people would blame them for shit with ChatGPT and Anthropic. Smart capabilities in the Home app. Apple Intelligence makes it easier to stay on top of things at home with updates to accessory notifications and new capabilities for HomeKit secure video cameras. Interesting, we are expecting a HomeKit-based secure video camera from Apple as a piece of hardware, but it's not coming out either. So I guess Apple will have a very jam-packed second half of the year in terms of announcement. The Home app draws on Apple Intelligence to understand related notifications as a single activity, so users receive one notification that updates as the activity happens. Yeah, Lydia arrived. With generated video descriptions, users can quickly understand what happened across a sequence of video clips, even without watching them. They can also search through camera clips so they can easily find what they're looking for, like a package delivery. At the top of the search page, the Home app elevates noteworthy clips that users may want to review so they can quickly see important moments. Yeah. I mean, this is all pretty self-explanatory. I wonder how much of that will be related to like cloud. And I mean, I guess if you have iCloud Plus with the storage for this data, then you would automatically get this capability. New accessibility updates, we have actually gone through those features when they were really announced during the World Accessibility Day, like an updated magnifier, new voiceover and voice controls. That all makes sense, especially now that we see the new Siri. Of course, all these features make sense based on stuff like the new visual intelligence. Additional new features. Apple Intelligence powers even more enhancements across the operating systems. Automatic proofreading, intelligent suggestions for names of files and folders. Workout Buddy is now available in Spanish. Additionally, Genmoji quality is even better and allows users to describe the changes they want to make. Okay, so that's what Mark Gurman leaked. Ben Vinny saying lock screen dimming still there. Well, I assume it's just a readability thing that Apple decided was better. The keyboard is different and the camera app feels a bit different as well. Well, does it look different? Or because it's supposed to work different? Is the new WWDC format a new CEO's decision? No. I honestly think that this is just like, to be honest, I think that that's the result of working with a smaller Snow Leopard-like release, right? It's because when you actually look at the feature list here, right, and you ignore the Siri and Apple Intelligence capabilities, right, and then you take the performance stuff, right, which is universal through iPhone, iPad, and you take out child safety, which again is universal. That leaves us with this. Design refinements, again, these are universal, faster performance, smoother network transitions, all of this stuff. Like, this is like even here, under iPadOS, they bring out AirPods custom EQ. So this is what happens when you have small releases, right? Like people online talked about like, oh, you remember when during Snow Leopard, Apple was bragging about having no new features and focusing mostly on refinement? That's what happens. You don't have enough stuff in the platform. And interesting, like tvOS is seemingly so light on features that they don't bring it even up themselves. They bring up that the architecture is private. We have talked about this with Siri already. And yeah, we've talked about the availability stuff as well. So yeah, this is basically Apple's big articles here. This is just summarizing all of WWDC. I think everything that we've read thus far, we skipped the kids control stuff. Yeah, so the major stuff here is the design. More responsive, reliable, and delightful experience across software platforms. So I was asked about like what performance improvements Apple brought here. The 2027 releases make Apple products even more responsive, reliable, and delightful to use through design refinements, performance improvements, and enhancements to the ways users work, communicate, share memories, enjoy music with AirPods, track their health, and more. I think they used Gemini to write the script for the event. The issue is everything they showed individually was good. It's just as a structure, it seemed very alien to how WWDC actually works. But again, I also think that it's just a side effect of the fact that we are looking at a refinement here, right? There is only so much time that you can invest to talk about kids stuff, the speed improvements, which we're going to get through. And then even with Apple Intelligence and Siri, there's only so long you can talk about that without... I mean, I already think that they sometimes broaden the way they speak versus prior events, sometimes repeating themselves more often. This has nothing to do with a new CEO. Like, John Turnus is not going to come in and tell the presenters, say this in 2 sentences, what could have been said in 1 sentence, right? This is basically an exercise almost in marketing and kind of having to stretch yourself a little because they don't actually have that much, which is what people were asking for, right? People were asking for refinement here. And let's actually get through those refinements. Improvements across platforms push key system capabilities forward, so everyday tasks feel faster, smoother, and more enjoyable. For example, iPhone and iPad apps launch up to 30% faster, photos load up to 70% faster after being taken, and AirPod transfers are up to 80% faster. Let's go through 1, 2, and 3. Testing conducted by Apple using an 11 Pro Max. This is from 26.42, then this was conducted on an iPhone 15, and then this was conducted with iPhone 16 Plus for AirDrops. Interesting device choices. So I assume the bigger performance changes will apply to the older hardware anyway. They even said that their new devices already had a better CPU scheduler. They just further improved on it. The major changes are probably happening on devices with less RAM, with slower chips and stuff like that. During network transitions, moving between cellular and Wi-Fi networks is more seamless than ever, and browsing and transferring files between external drives and iPad is up to 5 times faster, especially given the fact that iPad used to have a tendency to drop connection to external drives when you put the Files app into the background. Making it just as Finder is on Mac, which is weird because that's what it always should have been like. In Spotlight, Photos, and Mail, the search experience has been rebuilt to make it more stable. So this is where we talked about stuff like better indexing. The search is more stable and efficient to help users find exactly what they're looking for. And in Mail, a completely new ranking system surfaces even more relevant results and top hits. Okay, and let's now... So these are the performance improvements. Again, this is universal. Now, not every iPhone, not every iPad will be exactly that percentage faster. That would be insane. But it's it's about as concrete as Apple gets, right? A new slider in settings gives users the option to personalize liquid glass, adjusting it anywhere from ultra clear to fully tinted to match their preference. App icons have been updated to be sharper and more refined. That has been a complaint early on. Like, show me actually this. What did it look like before? Like, I understand it looks sharper, it looks cleaner. But what was it before, like according to Apple? Yeah, I can see that it's sharper. The outlines are harder. Yeah, I can see that. On Mac, updates reincorporate cornerstones of the macOS design that users have always loved, including a more uniform toolbar across the top apps, and then also like that side panel is also redesigned. Senti R260 saying, I'm refreshing my updates, but I still don't see the iOS 27 update. Yeah, that will be based on like server connection. And right now, I assume the servers are quite a bit overloaded. So my iPad still shows update requested. So I'm not even sure if it's downloading or just establishing a connection to the server. This is what happens in the first few hours of the new beta being out. Just be patient. Yeah, and you should be on developer beta as well. But then again, it does show you 3 options. It shows you iPadOS 26 public beta, developer beta 26, and developer beta 27. So it has to still come from the server. Just what I always do, first click off on betas in general, then close settings app, then go back into settings, and then usually you should get new options. Yeah, Cynthia, I'm also talking about iPad, but what we are recommending is universal between iPad and iPhone. And these days, it's also the same on Mac. Refinements to the software design deliver an even more focused and approachable experience across apps and platforms. A new slider in settings gives users the option to personalize liquid glass, adjusting it anywhere from ultra clear to fully tinted to match their preference, and app icons have been updated to be sharper and more refined. On Mac, updates reincorporate cornerstones of the macOS design that users have always loved, a more uniform toolbar across the top apps, edge-to-edge sidebars, colored sidebar icons, and more. Additional features coming this fall. iCloud shared albums introduce cross-platform photo sharing with full resolution support. The Health app brings support for perimenopause and menopause and cycle tracking. On Apple Watch, a new dynamic app grid features the icons for 5 Siri suggested apps. Oh, so that's a little bit like the Siri suggestions on iPhone and iPad. And the new Find My app consolidates Find Devices, Find Items, and Find People. Isn't that already the case? I'll have to see. AirPod users can now enjoy custom EQ to further personalize on their AirPods sound, and with expanded Apple Gym Kit functionality, users with AirPods Pro 3 can sync their heart rate data through iPhone while enjoying incredible audio quality. Never use heart rate tracking on my AirPods Pro 3, but whatever. Yeah. You're asking what's new in beta. That's what we've been talking about for the last 3 hours. Apple Vision Pro users can now turn panoramas into spatial scenes and use them as personal environment. And connecting to Wi-Fi is up to 3 times faster. I mean, good for Apple. What was wrong in the code for it to be that slow before? I mean, it says connecting to Wi-Fi, so not peak Wi-Fi speeds, but I guess just the initial connection through like settings and Wi-Fi. Apple Maps brings an enhanced flyover experience, which combines aerial imagery with AI, allowing users to enjoy more detailed visuals. So this is iCloud shared album syncing with cross-platform, full resolution support. This is perimenopause and menopause tracking. This is custom EQ for AirPods. And this is Apple Vision Pro panoramas being turned into spatial scenes, and improved flyover using high-quality imagery and AI. And again, availability with a lot of asterisks in a way, especially about the EU. Faster messages thing, missed messages not to an count. Yeah, none of this is too big. This is why the event was short, because there isn't that much else beyond Apple Intelligence. Can iPhone 16 Pro Max have the new iOS 27? Because yeah. Every iPhone, this is one thing that I can at least praise here. Every iPhone all the way down to iPhone 11 supports this. So this is the support is actually great on iPhone. So all iPhones that supported iOS 26 will also support iOS 27. There are some cuts, especially when it comes to watchOS. macOS obviously cuts all the last Intel Macs. I'm not quite sure about how iPadOS compares versus iPadOS 26, but on iPhone it's a very generous. Given that iPads go up until iPad 9th gen here, iPad mini 6th gen, iPad A16, it doesn't seem like they cut at least much, if anything, from iPads either. I myself am downloading iPadOS 27 for my iPad, and then I'm judging based on the stability whether or not I should install it, for example, on my Mac, especially to play around with Siri. On my iPhone, I'll think about it, but I'm going on a weekend trip to London this starting on Friday. Hey Siri, stop. And so the last thing I want from this is my iPhone to not show my boarding pass for the plane or my or any issue with my hotel booking. I'll need my iPhone to be as stable as it can be, basically. I'll have a look if maybe there's a new iPadOS 26 beta at the very least to kind of console me a little bit. Guys, we've now been streaming for almost 4 hours. I do have to wrap this up now because I am quite tired. If you are enjoying this, please consider subscribing to the channel. We will be doing more follow-up content, especially everything on this website that it's like specific to the individual platforms. We'll see what we have missed. I'll give you my impressions on iPadOS at the very least, maybe macOS. Though, again, I don't want to really install macOS 27 because if it doesn't work well with OBS, then we won't be able to stream well. But we'll go through all of that. And then, again, you can join my Discord and my Twitter to discuss stuff over there. That will also provide me with data and stuff to talk about. But at least iPadOS is something that I'll check. But for now, it does seem like, again, it's not like in the European Union I'm going to get all of it anyway, right? So I'm going to be able to talk about stuff like the liquid glass slider. But for anything more, I'll also have to rely on you guys. So help me out however you can. But yeah, thank you so much. This was super fun. We had some technical issues that I didn't enjoy, but I wasn't at fault for them. So hopefully you guys aren't angry with me about it either. So my internet was slow for a while, but didn't result in dropped frames, only in like buffering, which is weird. It's not really how OBS usually works. My YouTube stream server changed, and that resulted in audio issues, which is weird because that's also not really how that should work. But it clearly wasn't me, because whatever I was doing, like even looking at my OBS settings, they seem to be fine. I'm really grateful to all of you who were able to join live. I will be grateful to all of you who will be watching afterwards. Last shout out for you guys to do the YouTube jazz, as we call it around here: subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. You can also become a channel member or a supporter over on Patreon. You'll find the links in the description of the channel. I like the announcements of WWDC. The two major caveats I have about today's WWDC is I wasn't a big fan of the structure, like completely foregoing the usual, here's iPhone OS, here's iPadOS, here's macOS, right? Just focusing on these three broader topics. It's an interesting thing that I believe could have worked if there had been more. But then again, I don't actually think there is a realistic way to make, other than the Apple Intelligence features, the small stuff that they're financed into a really 2-hour big event. For that, they were missing hardware, in my opinion. M5 Max, M5 Ultra Max Studio and stuff like that, right? And potentially a HomePad or HomePod or just general Home OS that also does Siri, whatever. And the other thing that I didn't like was, of course, the EU regulating me to death in terms of like what I can get access to. Look, I know that, of course, it's not entirely the EU's fault. It's Apple's broader business practices. However, I do happen to like those business practices. I am for a very competitive market, but I choose to buy Apple. I choose to buy iPhones. I do want a curated first-party experience that prioritizes first-party stuff before eventually more of it becomes available through APIs and stuff like that to third parties. Apparently, the EU disagrees. And they seem to be quite aggressive about AI stuff here, right? Which is weird because Apple's market share in terms of AI is so small, right? Like, sure, will it give them a little bit of a leg up versus like ChatGPT and Claude? But then even Gemini, right? I'm not aware of Gemini giving you access to all other models as an option. Like all the Gemini intelligence features, they are Gemini based. I didn't see them also allowing you to use Claude and whatever. So I'll probably do some research. As I said, I will actually be writing to the European Commission through the Digital Markets Act website, and hopefully all of us doing that, so a shout out for you guys to do that as well, will result in some action from the European Union to be more lenient towards Apple. I found Apple's suggestions here to be very reasonable, but we'll have to see. Obviously, I know that me writing by myself won't change much, but all of us together, hopefully that will change something in the next 2 to 3 months. And then hopefully by the end of the year, we will have Siri AI and all that stuff in the European Union as well. They did promise that all the Apple Intelligence languages are supported. So I do hope that, because there isn't that much else that's missing for EU stuff. It's really literally just the regulatory stuff. Yeah, but despite those negatives, I still enjoyed myself tremendously today, and thank you to all of you who made it such an enjoyable experience for me. I'll keep on interacting with you through Discord and Twitter, and again, either tomorrow or today or the day after, I'll stream. It will depend a little bit on work and my general energy level, but on one of those days, guaranteed, I'll do a follow-up, especially after my iPad has updated and things like that. Yeah, and my last shout out, please, when the stream ends, don't just comment in the live stream, comment also under the regular video. That helps a lot as well, helps give it some life even beyond the live stream, and that would be very much appreciated beyond all the other YouTube jazz that we have already discussed. Thank you guys so much. Let's explore the 27 releases together, and I'll see you guys soon again. But for now, this is Mark Tech, tuning out.